It's time, the Delphonics, ladies and gentlemen, part of Tarantino Week. Maybe one of the great Tarantino musical moments that you meet a girl and she likes a certain group, so you go out and buy the best of, and you're just driving around in your car, just trying to accumulate, and you're like, yeah, this is great. I like this too. I'm just like her.
I love her, and I love everything about her, and I love this music. She's
introducing me to so many great things. But I got to tell you, that movie, by the way, is truly underrated by Tarantino fans. But when he doesn't leave with Pam Grier, I wanted to choke him out, man. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? It's all right there for you. What are you going to do? Go back to your little place? Live your little safe life? Run to her.
Go,
and you guys can deal coke and everything. It'll be great.
Don't you want to do that? Don't you want this to be your life?
Don't you want an adventure constantly?
Don't you believe in love?
Oh, God.
Push that weight.
So, yeah, Delphonics. Let's see. I'm just going to go with the best stuff here because it should be all the best songs. You know? I mean, it's best of. That's why I shouldn't be with the not so goods. And then he's just in his car, just grooving it. You know, it's almost like he's smelling her perfume. God, I love that scene. All right, it's the Bennington show. Let's get this out of the way. Anthony's the only one who knows how to take care of my water for me.
He's a pro.
He's always got nice, icy, fresh water.
Because he cares. He
does care.
Cares about you.
If there's anything that we should do, it's do our best to make sure that he ends up in this building. Foos time.
I know. I'm introducing him to all the right people.
Good. Then introduce yourself to them.
Okay, good.
Do me a favor. You going to be my on-demand guy?
Yes, I will fucking be laser beam of on-demand.
Let it happen, and then when it doesn't happen, tell me and tell Don, and let's get it fucking fixed immediately. On-demand is nothing but a pain in the ass to me.
I know.
Instead of being a pleasurable thing.
Should be a nice thing for everyone.
I missed that Buddies guy. What was his name?
Hey, Buddies.
Before I say to people, just go to Hey Buddies.
He's got everything.
Yeah, he's got it all. He cares. He's like the Anthony. Like if Anthony was like a bootlegger, he'd be Hey Buddies.
I miss him so.
Oh, just every time we take a drink of this cold water, it reminds me of Hey Buddies.
Oh, it's so cold.
It's nice and cold on a hot day.
Yeah.
No.
What's the other fucking kid's name?
Dennis.
That fucking kid's like, here's some warm tap water.
He doesn't care.
You know there's ice and it's free here.
One day he tells me he got it out of the toilet. I'm like, I'm not drinking it. He goes, relax. The back of the toilet. The back of the toilet. All right, there's two heroes, I believe, today up on the iBang. One is Foul Ball Dad. Now, Foul Ball Dad catches a foul ball while holding his baby, and the baby doesn't even stop the Baba action. Now, here's the downside of this. It got, declared an out. They're acting like that other fucking mutt would have got to it because he's on the other side of that rail.
Yeah.
But if you're hometown, and I don't have a problem with it. Hometowner should reach.
Now, I feel like the other problem is I'm not sure this is a proper way to hold a baby. He's doing a lot of bragging, pointing like, look, I caught this ball and I got this baby. But the baby is being held in a way I don't think I've ever seen a child held.
Not only have I seen a child held like that, you have been. And there's a picture of it. There's a picture of me just holding on to you like you were a wet fucking bag of socks.
So this is a dad move then. Like this is a dangling.
First of all, there's two things. Where's the mom? Right?
Right.
During the game, really? This guy who's right there on the rails should be holding the baby?
She's going to get some more drinks.
Look, I'm proud of this. This is the first Cubs interference that I'm proud of. Because he didn't interfere with his own team. He interfered with the other team.
This guy's amazing.
The Yankees, what was it, like 97, I think. 96.
The first.
Went to World Series based on a kid.
Yeah, grabbing a home run.
Slapping a ball.
Now, was that the one who he was stalked and stuff afterward?
No, that was Chicago.
Okay.
That guy. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this. And everybody knows his name. I forget it.
I forget it as well.
Whatever. It became...
Steve Bartman.
Yeah, Steve Bartman. I mean, it got down to the point where people were going, you fucking Bartman that, no matter what would happen. But he's such a stand-up guy. He never tried to cash in on it, never did anything, and I really like him. and I'd like to put him up as a 30 for 30.
Oh, that's a
I'm
good
going to do that
one.
the next time I meet with the ESPN people. So you're not impressed with Foul Ball Dad because he's holding the baby so poorly?
I feel like, yeah, he's bragging about something that I don't think he's doing a great job doing. Listen, catching the foul ball, sure. He's doing that well.
He did it perfectly. Any points, look, I got a baby too. But look how the guy in the blue hat doesn't even fucking react.
Yeah.
I feel like smacking that guy for not getting...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is he kind of glaring at him?
I guess some shit happened earlier. You know what I mean? Like, now that
crying.
asshole got a fucking... Now that asshole gets a foul ball. But I don't see a mother around, do you?
No,
It looks like it's just the two of them. It's like only strangers are saying, yeah. Like this guy should have been somewhere else. He's like Ferris Bueller. You know what I mean?
I will give it to him that the baby is not being held any differently than it was after he caught the ball.
He's got a grip on the kid.
The way the baby's sucking that bottle, too, it's like, I'm feeling nervous, I better eat. This is going to be a 400-pound fucking child. This is going to be a 400-pound third grader. I am all up for anybody who can hold a baby and catch a ball at the same time.
It's incredibly impressive.
It's a great day at Wrigley. They ought to let that guy sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring it up the next meeting. I got the perfect guy. Foul Ball Dead.
Can we get him?
Yeah, you don't have to give it to Garland for the 800th time.
I didn't know you're sitting in on those meetings.
Well, I'm all part of the WGN and all that.
I'm kind of annoyed the baby didn't react more. I feel like the baby should be more impressed with its father.
Baby is
It's just a baby.
He doesn't know where it's at right now.
He's just dangling.
Being a baby is the same as being a drop, like just a blackout drunk. There's no difference between babies and blackout drunk. They don't remember shit that happened. They can start crying for no reason. They can puke. They can shit themselves. We should say to mothers, you just gave birth to a drunk. Congratulations.
It's not going to get better for like another 2 years.
I hope it sobers up. Yeah, when it bottoms out finally
Right.
and starts to walk and shit in the toilet, then you'll have something. Brian in Pittsburgh.
Hey, Bennington, how's it going?
Great, man.
There actually is a 30 for 30 on Steve Bartman.
I did it. Yes.
Yay!
I did it.
It is.
You're
so
welcome.
Good. Yeah, it's one of the best.
Thank you.
Hey,
I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and I'm glad I could be here for you. Listen to it later on demand. Or write to us at the Bennington Show at Gmail.
Is that where you're taking your emails now?
Gmail. It's kind of cutting edge, you know? We have a new thing on Gmail.
Yeah.
If 30 seconds later you decide, I don't want to send this, you don't have to send it anymore.
Wow, that would be a great feature.
Well, it is. It is a great feature. It's one that AOL had 20 years ago, but everybody still fucking makes fun of AOL. AOL used to have it until the person picked it up. You could fucking get rid of it. So if you wrote to a girl, I really like you a lot, and in fucking 2 days, she didn't, even look at your email, you could just delete it. Like, fuck you. How's that? Now nobody likes anybody.
This is what you get.
You never found out anything.
No love.
God, I would use that so many times for typos alone. Because I tend to proofread after I already send something.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
And it's really awful. Like I'll send something and then think about it and be like, I didn't really look through that.
I spelled Pennsylvania Gravy.
It's not even close.
Sam, Los Angeles, California, home of the Doors.
Love it out here. I'm actually a pediatrician. The babies have something called a vertical suspensor. It's a holdover from evolution when we were monkeys holding on to our moms while they were swinging from tree to tree. So because of that, when you hold a kid right under the arms like that, they hold on just fine.
All right, so Sam, as a Christian, what you just said offends me deeply. Okay?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it wasn't Chim and Eve. It was Adam and Eve. So you're saying the way he's holding the baby, perfect.
The baby's doing the work for you, too.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. It's not ideal, but the kid's going to be fine because he's got tone in his arms to actually do like a little chin-up. We have that response when we're babies. It goes away as we get older.
So, Sam, you're saying don't baby babies.
Don't baby. If you want to rub just a little bit, if you want to do that, I wouldn't say, go crazy, but
yeah.
I understand that the baby's capable of doing this chin-up maneuver, but it doesn't sound like a comfortable way to eat.
Oh, they'll be fine, honestly. You know, he doesn't care.
All right, I see. Like, you don't want to be hanging from a tree
right.
eating.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great.
Well, all right, Sam, I appreciate it.
You got it.
Sam's a pediatrician, which to me sounds like the worst job in the world, because who wants to tell a baby you're really sick?
Bad news, baby.
I don't know how to tell you this, baby, but you've only got about 80, 90 years to live. Tops.
No.
That's what we should do when we hand the baby to the mothers. Go like this. She's dying.
What? What do you mean?
Within 90, 94 years, tops.
Oh, okay.
She's going to be gone.
Cherish it.
Cherish every moment.
You gotta cherish it.
Enjoy every sandwich. Which, by the way, Warren, you didn't need to tell me that. Already do.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Coach in Arizona.
$1 million.
Million.
Hey, did you see the home run, Dad? It was Giants, Rockies, and Rockies hit a home run, and Dad walks out of the field with a baby on his hip and bare hands a gamer.
Oh, this just happened this week, right?
Yeah, I tweeted it to you guys.
I don't know why we didn't put it up, because that sounds just marvelous.
And the baby didn't even know
Oh, yeah,
what was going
I
on.
did see this. Yeah, the baby didn't give a shit. I don't know why you shouldn't even take a baby to a game these days, you know? They're not going to appreciate it.
Do you have to pay for the baby? Or
Yeah.
does the baby just come in with you? It's assumed.
Or
Dad
go
got
to
a
a game
beat
with
on
my
it
dad
coming
and
right
he'd be like this when you're a baby. All right, if he hits the short, where does he throw the ball? Can I just enjoy the game? Where does he go? Does he go home with it? Does he go to second? Does he go to first? You watching this game? Yeah, in my own way I am.
It's a quiz?
Just kind of letting it wash over me.
I'm trying to eat all this water ice so I have a little helmet cup that I can put on my head.
It's going to look ridiculous.
Take that off your head. There was just water ice in it. All right, you got a man on third, 2 outs. Where do you go if the ball's hit the third? Home? Why? Why would you do that? I don't know. I'm just a child trying to watch a game. I see these other kids running around. I'm not the manager, you know? I'm not the skipper up here. Just a kid watching a game. Where's the cutoff man? 10 times or more. God, that song's so good. I don't know why that is our national anthem. All right, here's another thing I love. It's up on the iBank today. It's a tornado that hit in South Jersey, right on the water. You got to go to about 2:30 on this, Chris. But you can hear the accent, that great South Jersey, Philly, Delco accent of this weather Ironman letting us know that a tornado is coming in.
See now, if I would never had this house, I would have never filmed this. Oh yeah, switching. Look at it! Look at the water! Holy shit! Look at that!
Look at that.
That's like a freaking
Oh my God, Dad.
tornado type shit. We'll be all right. Don't worry. We'll be all right. Look at that! That's freaking nuts! This is a tornado! Oh! We're in a fucking tornado! Just stay right there, Barb. You're good. It's gone. It's gone. Go to the bathroom. That's the safest place in the house. It's all right now. It's over with. It already switched.
Listen to her. She's not happy.
What? We're good.
We're good. It's a fucking tornado.
It's a tornado.
Get in the bathroom and stay in there, Barb. Stay in there, Barb, for the tornado. Everybody hold the hoagies on the floor. A tornado's coming through. It's coming right over the water. Watch out for the house. The house is going to go up like a fucking Wizard of Oz house. Barb, get in the bathroom. Pull your pants down and get on the shitter. Try to hold this house down from the tornado.
There's water getting in the house.
There's water in the house. This is a fucking house, not a boot. Get in the bathroom. That's the safest place, Barb. I know everything about everything.
Like the thing comes whipping across, and he's like, "We'll be all right.
We'll be all right. Everybody in Cape May's gonna die."
Why does he know that?
This guy knows his shit, obviously.
It's a tornado, Barb. What the freaking fuck? That's fucking great, man. That's amazing.
That guy's awesome.
He's the best. He should be on the Weather Channel. I'd never turn it off. It's fucking snowing. Get out the plows. Starting to fucking snow everywhere. Where's my work boots? Hon? Work boots, snow. Work boots for the snow. And a hoagie. And 2 Cokes. I need a Coke to wash down the hoagie. I'm watching a tornado. He's great. Those guys, it's up on the iBang, by the way. Somebody sent this to us today. It's from Facebook. So this is just off the dude's Facebook. Like, not only did he put it up there, but he's proud enough of his actions. He didn't give 2 shits about Barb. Let's watch the tornado.
Getting great shots. God, that guy's the man.
Yeah, he is.
And to know that much about tornado and tornado safety, to know that a bathroom is the safest place.
So
yes.
true.
I didn't know porcelain protected so well.
Well, it does. It's always, if you're in a tornado, go in the shit box quickly.
Room with no windows.
No windows at all. You got the plumbing, keep you nice and safe. I always keep a hoagie in there and a cheesesteak. Couple of tasty cakes in there too, huh? But don't touch the crimpets! I'm saving that crimpet for after the tornado.
If you survive.
Is everybody Moorgate okay? I'm going to check. What's going on at Love Ladies? Everybody up and down the coast. What about the Wildwood Crest? Oh shit, the pancake place, the Wildwood Crest blew away. Now where am I supposed to go for Sunday brunch? I'm getting reports 2 duck boats went underwater.
The duck the ride?
It's a duck boat, lady. Jesus. It's so fucking funny. I love everybody in South Jersey. They're so different from North Jersey people. You know?
It's crazy that the accent is the exact same.
Yeah, and there's Phillies fans down there too, and they live like a much easier, more laid back way. The North Jersey people are just always freaked out and fucking worried about money, and South Jersey people are just like taking the whole summer off, going to shore,
right?
Going to shore all summer. That's it for me. I worked 4 months last winter. Now I'm on unemployment and I'm faking a neck injury and I'm going down to shore. I told my union, you're not going to see me till after Labor Day. Working on the tan. And I go to a karaoke place down there. All I sing is Bon Jovi. I love it that he's doing the weather that way, though. All right, so that's up on the iBang today. If we had to pick video of the day, which one you take? You take Ball Dad or Weather Dad?
I like Weather Dad.
Tornado.
Joey?
Weather Dad.
Wow, not even close, huh?
I mean, I love Foul Ball Dad. But what, I mean, you know,
it's not even close.
It's not even close.
But he gets wiped out by Weather Dad.
It's a Beatles and Stones situation. No matter how good the Stones are, no one ever say Stones #1 best band. Mick and Keith have sit around this fucking whole life from like 1965 to last week and look at 2, just number 2. No one's replaced them, yeah, but they've never moved up once. The hell? It's got to drive you crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you think they just hate Paul?
I don't know. I think they wanted to be him for a little while. I really do.
I think there's some bad blood there.
I think there's the bad blood between the Beatles and everybody.
Yeah.
I think they took too much. I think they took too much of the cake for everybody else.
In such a short time, too.
Yeah. They're like if you said to if we did like one of those Family Feuds, we talked to 100 mints. Name a 60s rock and roll band. Beatles would probably get 80%.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
But if you said name a 70s, it would be all over the place.
Yeah, that's true. But the Stones got to be bitter because they're still like working at it. They're like, we've been.
If I'm going to be honest here, the Stones got to be better because the Stones are better. Period. They're a real rock and roll band. A working man's rock and roll band. Fucking, you look over there, Stanley, Mr. Beatles.
That's right.
He loves the hits.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's crazy.
You're a beat man?
Like, give me all the hits. Constantly.
He's a Beatle maniac. What's the story with the beer stash guy? Was that you?
No, it was not me.
Who was it? Somebody threw it up there. Oh, here's another fucking weird piece. Jason Lee's ex spoke up against Scientology, and she acted like he was like crazy into it. He never comes off that way.
Yeah, I read that and it was pretty bizarre. Like he definitely comes off like kind of a sweet dude.
Yeah, I met him. He came in and did the show, and he was just like you'd expect him to be. Matter of fact, all the Scientology people I've ever met, and I admit I'm not in a Scientology meeting with them. They might get different,
right?
But they were all like regular people. I didn't see one of them and act like, oh, that's a lunatic.
But I think that's part of their training as well. Not to say that they're all like nuts or anything, but I think part of what they do is teaching people how to market themselves. I think
not be weird. Yeah, but he wasn't selling. He was just being a cool dude.
Right.
Like I see Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, constant sales.
Right.
You know, I wish Chris Stanley had 1/10 of Tom Cruise. Matter of fact, if I had a fucking genie, I'd say switch me out Tom Cruise with Chris Stanley, and with Tom Cruise fucking EP in this show, forget about it.
Well, I'm excited to see all these new movies with Chris Stanley in them instead of Tom Cruise.
Do me a favor.
It's a perfect switch.
Put our show, do some kind of scene in Mission Impossible.
Got it.
Where you come in, and you're like, we're interviewing you, and then you shoot us or tranquilize us, whatever you do. And then you jump out the window.
Yeah.
And rappel down.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you saw the new Tom Cruise trailer, right?
I haven't seen it yet.
He's on the outside of a jet, and it's fucking real. He's holding on
what do you mean?
to the outside of a jet airplane while it's taking off.
What do you mean it's real, though?
It's real.
Like he really did it personally?
Yes, he's really on the outside of a fucking jet airplane. Now, I'm sure they got his belt hooked onto something, but you wouldn't do that even if you knew your belt was fucking strapped.
Screw that. Am I Tom Cruise? Got all that Tom Cruise money?
No. It's not even all that comfortable to be on the inside of a jet.
No.
You're still like, is this jet okay? But when you're on the outside of a jet, look.
No.
That's fucking real, dude.
He's on the goddamn side of the plane and it's lifting off.
No, I don't like that.
But he's doing it to save, I guess, I don't know, America.
And you know, like, in this plane, they at least got to loop it around and bring them back. They can't just land it immediately.
Here's an instance where I'm okay with using CGI. We don't need anyone to
Look
do
how
that.
high he was. You see that last scene?
It's freaked
Watch.
out.
No.
Now watch. Keep watching.
No.
Look at that.
Christ.
He's up at least a half a mile in the air. Tom Cruise, world's greatest actor.
Tom, we're going to have to shoot this again.
I think his Scientology gives him faith that he's going to be
now
okay.
Chris saying that the beer stash isn't him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the title of it. You'll never see a beer stash like this. That is a fucking Chris Stanley line if I've ever heard of one.
Warning, terrifying.
That's your line. You don't remember that.
Now I do.
Now you were blacked out, weren't you?
I try not to be blacked out anymore.
That doesn't work that way. I'm starting to black out. I'll slow down and have coffee. No one is at that fucking move.
Yeah, it's impossible to be like, all right, now the blackout's hitting. No, it just happens.
You know who doesn't say, I'm trying not to black out anymore?
Who's that?
People who aren't alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
It never once dawned on them. You know what? I'm trying not to black out these days.
I actually find it pretty easy.
It's really? Is that easy
yeah,
for
for those not like people that aren't alcoholics, I don't know how they do it.
Weird.
They're like, no more. I had 2 drinks. You're like, what?
No.
Fucking freak.
No, there's 10 more behind those 2.
Yeah.
That's the start.
You know what fucking Chris should also call his drinking binges?
What's that?
Quiet time. Because that motherfucker doesn't say shit to anybody.
Is that right? You get very quiet?
Just thinking.
He Lee Marvin's his ass.
Really?
Yeah.
Another scotch on the rocks, please.
No, it's more like this. Scotch rock. Scotch a rock. And then he just sits there and he's drinking and he's tapping his finger, looking at the bottom of that glass, like there's going to be some kind of answer. like the glass is going to say, here's what you need to do with your life, Chris.
Finally, you're talking to me.
Here's how to find happiness. How long do you think happiness lasts?
Oh, God. Almost 0. I mean, I think the moments of happiness.
What?
Like time. Like a moment of happiness. Really, how long does it last? Not much, not long at all.
First of all, you're angry right now. Instead of having a conversation, you're furious. But wasn't that weird? Like, fucking, like, dark periods can last for a long time.
Yeah.
But no one's ever been like on a, well, I guess some of those mental patients go on a 48-hour happy binge.
Right. But if something bad had happened to you 2 days ago, and then I bumped into you and you said, man, I'm just still really upset about, what had happened, it would sound normal. But if someone said, hey, still really pumped on that awesome day we had the other day, that person would look crazy.
Are you okay?
Smiling and laughing for the last 2 days.
Just loving every minute of this.
You ever run into anybody? What's going on with you? Oh, I'm in a great mood. Why? My dad didn't die. Last 48 hours, I've had a dad.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just giving thanks, really.
YOLO.
Stop saying that.
Everyone hates YOLO. Even the people who say it.
Very obnoxious.
Did anyone ever say it seriously, though? Was that made up?
Oh,
I think it was kind of made up.
No, you know who says it seriously.
No.
I think Drake had a song that said YOLO.
Thank you.
I don't know what you mean.
I was going to say be more general. And look, I understand what's going on with the Confederate flag.
Sure.
They lost Walmart, Sears.
eBay.
eBay is out.
And Amazon is now no more Confederate flags or merchandise with Confederate flags
Amazon
on it.
Too?
Amazon wants no part of it.
Wow.
Yeah. You can't even get anything with the Confederate flag on it. They want no one getting any Confederate flag merch.
That's quite a change.
It's a tipping point. This is what you would call a real tipping point, where everything happens at the same time. Just, because it wasn't like a build. I mean, every once in a while it comes up over the last couple of years, and people are like, well, it's history. Everyone has a right. But I mean, we just had that conversation last week with a lot of Southern people. But this, I think, is finally the North has put the knee into the neck of the South.
How you like that?
By keeping them down. There's nothing they can do about that.
They got the battle, but we won the war.
I actually said this. And I called Turner Classic Movies, and I said, I want you to take every Civil War movie and blank out the rebels, and it just looks like Yankees are shooting at open fields. Yeah. And I said, go back to 12 Years a Slave, take out all the white people, so it just looks like the black people have a nice farm and a big house to go into at night.
I'm worried about all the Civil War reenactors. They must be trying to.
I'm all on the side of the Yankees, but the rebels will not be showing up. I'd like to have them replaced by houseplants. So just Yankees just running up, shooting,
stabbing,
bayoneting houseplants. That would be better.
Well, this goes to show you that you can say what you want about whatever corporation, like they take a stance on this and these don't take a stance. They literally are just reacting to what people want.
They every time if they think anything will fuck with their money even slightly, they will react and get rid of it. You could, if a corporation found out, oh, you want us to shoot our own CEO, we'll do it. If enough of you guys are willing to buy the package,
public execution.
Yes, you could say to HBO, we'll all buy the pay-per-view if you shoot the president of HBO. And they would say, got it.
Yeah.
Coming in 2 weeks.
But if something had happened where it became trendy, where everyone was wearing like Civil War T-shirts and jackets and dresses. That's all of these companies would be selling those things, and they would not go,
back.
hey, wait a second, actually that's a symbol of,
They would
something that we're
actually
not
say
proud
this:
of.
we are proud to sell the new Confederate flag pants. Because here's what you have to remember about any corporation. They are soulless. They're actually the first robots. They have no feelings whatsoever. They're just driven for more money. And if you figure out how to get a hold of them, that's why in radio, I don't know, 100 people could probably get a radio star fired just by complaining.
Yeah.
That's it. If they go, oh my God, we're in big fucking trouble here. It's like when CBS fired Imus. Nobody at CBS thought it was a big deal.
Right.
And then they start going, wait, fuck, this is fucking with our money. Don, you're out. You've been here for 400 years.
Right.
You're out.
Doesn't really matter why.
No.
But
Doesn't matter.
Couple of squeaky wheels,
Squeaky wheels get it done. Grady. Hey, Grady, what's up?
What's up, man? Yeah, you think the North won, but all these country motherfuckers down here, man, they're gonna be getting their Betsy Ross on. They're gonna be selling these motherfuckers. But
I guess you can't stop from that.
No, sure.
No,
I guess we can stop selling thread in the South if that comes up. No more thread will be sent to the South at all.
Yep.
All right, thanks. Hey, Bubba.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I'm all for taking the flags down off the state buildings, but this thing about not selling them on the internet is just a little bit too far.
Yeah, it just happened overnight. It happened without any real discussion, and that's how these things go. You know what I mean? Like
It's
when
just,
Ant got fired here, there wasn't any real discussion, wasn't real talk about it. Just like, oh, this thing is moved up. Let's make a move. Look, it's gone.
And there's only one temperature check on it. It's just what's happening right now, and let's all react to it immediately. Not like, hey, let's see where we're at in 2 weeks.
But
to see if everybody's still upset about this thing.
But that lets you kind of think like, okay, how can I use that to my advantage?
Yep.
How can I get companies to do the things I want to do? And we should all be fucking just organizing stupid groups to get shit that we don't want. I'd like to get, if I could, metal prizes put back in Cracker Jacks.
Yeah.
I'd be buying them right now if they thought there was a little metal prize I can get in there.
Send out a couple tweets.
Yeah.
Get a couple followers to agree with you. Done.
Put YOLO in it somewhere.
Yeah.
Hashtag it.
Definitely hashtag it.
I mean, metal prizes are just quality.
Jordan, Mississippi.
Hey, why is there so much hate against a flag that represented the whole United States over 13 colonies, representing the 13 stars? Why is there so much hate over a flag now?
I guess it's the shit that you guys did with it down there in Mississippi.
What it
You
represents.
you got motherfuckers, goddammit, stepping on the American flag that waves over the state capitals today. But yet y'all want to bitch about a flag that fucking flagged 100 years ago? Fuck that.
Now,
Fuck them motherfuckers that want to fucking step on the motherfucking flag now.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you contacted eBay or Walmart with your thoughts?
eBay or Walmart?
Yeah, they're the ones that are dropping the flag.
Yeah. They're interested
I have contacted anybody and everybody that will listen, even my state representatives.
No, forget the state representatives. That has nothing to do with it. You really need to talk to major corporations because they're not hearing from you.
Walmart is based in the South.
Jordan, when they hear from a level-headed guy like you, I think they might start rethinking their ideas.
But see, even Walmart here in the United States still has, I know here in Mississippi, still has a state flag over it.
Yeah, I guess they're the next to lose it, huh? I mean, look at Ole Miss. That was the biggest thing. They used to have it right on their helmet when I was a kid.
Yeah.
No more.
Well, I can't say much about bipolar folks. Hell, they can't tell if they're an old man or a bear.
All right, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right, best of luck with Jordan down in Mississippi, giving his version of truth. John in North Carolina.
Bennington.
Hey, my friend.
Ronnie, I got a question for you. They said they're not going to have the rebel flag, Confederate flag on the state building. I'm just curious, when are they going to remove the Confederate battle flags from the Confederate cemeteries on the battlefield state parks commemorating both the North and the South.
Let me look at it because I saw something like that in the paper. All right, here's what they said they're going to do. They're going to bring mangy rabid dogs out into the cemeteries and have them shit on it.
No.
And said this is what happens to all the Confederate soldiers.
Doesn't seem like that's the way they should handle it.
It's the only thing left to do, according to them. Ken in Florida.
Hey, Ronnie, what's up?
Hey.
What's going to happen to all these Southern rock bands that, and the country bands that got the Confederate flags? Are they going to make them take them off the album covers, or what's going to happen with that?
I think they could just put them in brown paper.
Sure.
Yeah.
Censored.
All the Hatchet albums going in brown paper. There's something awful in here. Rob in Kansas.
Yeah, late yesterday on the news, I'm pretty sure I heard that right before Amazon quit selling Confederate items, their sales had increased 5,000% or something like that.
Well, that always happens that way. It's like the guy who didn't want to, I don't know, make a gay cake. They just turned around and gave him a bunch of money.
Right.
You know, in the meantime, some little kid that needs a neck operation can't get shit. Now, you're calling from Kansas. Remember that Kansas album cover had that painting on it.
Oh, shit.
With the guy standing up in front of the rebel flag.
Oh, no. The band Kansas, it doesn't exist anymore because of that album cover.
Okay, yeah, let's get rid of them. What we need to do is whitewash our past, would be the smartest thing to do.
Definitely.
You know what? I shouldn't use the word white. Just colorize our past.
Just
That's
generally wash it.
Amy in PA.
Hi there.
Yeah.
What I have to say is it's time for the flag to come down. It represents something to the white, bigoted people down in the South.
Are you talking about the American flag?
Pardon? No, we're not talking about the Confederate flag.
Oh, okay.
Now, the guy right prior to me who was complaining about people stepping all over the American flag, I think is really kind of ignorant. There's people out there that'll do that, but it doesn't make that right either. But the Confederate flag means too much negativity to too many people. And I can't believe that their state Senate voted yes to discuss taking it down. It should have been a thing of just take it down.
If they took it down, should we all wipe our asses with it and say, this is what we think of your Southern heritage?
I don't think that they should just take it down. They shouldn't replace it. They shouldn't do it. Just take it down.
There's only one flag that I really respect, and that's that U2 white flag that they used during the whole Sunday Bloody Sunday thing. Boy, that wasn't too alarming, seeing a rock band fucking flying a flag. Already these concerts are close enough to fascism without you throwing in a flag for the kids to be happy about.
I'm a big fan of Diver Down flag.
Well, you know what that means, right? Diver down. You get it? I think Diver Down flag looks like Norway.
Yes, it kind of does. Similar vibe.
When's the U.S. ladies soccer team about to rock? Tomorrow?
I think it is tomorrow is the next game.
China.
How are you feeling about it?
We got to beat the Chiners. We're not playing great, if I'm going to be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
I'd like to see us play greater. But I think the Chiners will win,
Yeah, it's very possible. I think they haven't come out swinging yet.
Janice in Chicago.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hey, our friend.
This whole thing just makes me nuts. I was just talking to a buddy of mine that we used to do living history with.
Why? Why did you do that, Janice? It's too hot.
The Confederate flag, it's just the flag. It's just, black men died under that flag, and just to make it all because some knucklehead little kid killed people. I don't know.
I don't think he ever would have if he hadn't saw that flag.
That's what set him off.
He said that was the only motivator. For him.
He goes, I saw a flag and I went crazy. Shut up in church.
His manifesto.
Yeah.
But it's all right.
All right, honey. Nice to talk to you. By the way, Janice was the baby in the Foul Ball Dad video. She was there in Chicago, just hanging. Her legs were hanging. Thanks.
She looked like she enjoyed that baba.
She did. That baba make her sick. Gary in California.
Hey, how you doing, Ron?
It's none of your business, Gary.
Hey, I'm just wondering when the American flag is going to be the next thing that they refuse to sell. If enough Native Americans rise up, because that's a symbol of hatred when they, when
I know
they
this.
invaded.
Anytime, like I've been to a protest and I was burning an American flag, when the cops came, I yelled, "It had touched the ground." It had
It's
touched
okay.
the ground.
It's all right.
That's the only reason.
This is the proper way to dispose of it.
Carry on.
It was tattered.
Tattered.
I'm a military veteran. I know how to dispose of it, but if this guy had been standing in front of American flag, would they have banned it?
I think they would.
No,
I think
so.
I think the American flag's about to go next.
I really don't.
When Barry
I think
Crimmins,
you're all right.
Barry Crimmins said yesterday when the flag was at half mast, if another president dies, do you drop it all the way down to the ground? And that line was so funny and annoyed me so much because it was right there my entire life. You know what I mean? I could have had that joke at any time. So he does that joke and I'm just like this, like a dog that sees another dog with a nice big juicy bone. He's funny as shit, huh?
Super funny. It was awesome to have him here.
Yeah, it's amazing. James in Texas.
Yeah, I'm hearing you guys talk about it. I hear a couple of people get pretty upset about the flag. I mean, I'm Hispanic. I'm a veteran. I was born and raised in Texas, and the symbology between the flag, the rebel flag. The Dukes of Hazzard had it, for Christ's sake. All it is just this Southern pride. I understand how it could be viewed as a symbol of oppression for some people, but it is part of our history. It might be a part of a very dark history in our country, but we've learned from that. So I think at the end of the day,
look, let's be honest here.
Right.
The American people are not ready for any complicated conversations.
Yeah.
That's why we say,
I
just
that.
don't talk. We tell ourselves, don't talk because we'll fuck it up.
Yeah, and that's why instead of having a conversation, it's either we can have it or we can't have it. And that's the only two conversations.
Look, I did the other night with Lisa Lampanelli, and she'll say anything, but now she says N-word because enough people complained. She doesn't believe in it.
Right.
She just doesn't think it's worth the fucking hassle to say it. By the way, that article's up on the iBank today. Spectacular. You'll see a nice picture over there looking like $1 million.
Yeah, she looked great.
What's the title there?
Lisa Lampanelli is on a spiritual path, but don't piss her off.
It was really funny the way that show ended. We were talking about
couldn't have
spiritual-
ended more
Yeah,
perfectly.
and she just fucking ripped into a guy. Seriously. I mean, you know what was funny too? From my angle, I could see the entire audience while this guy was getting thumped by her. And it looked like children seeing abuse, but not knowing what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just
in case you were worried that she doesn't have her bite anymore. She certainly does.
Too much bite there. She is going to be doing something with Jeffrey Gurian on AOL, I think 1:00 tomorrow. By the way, am I crazy or are the weeks in the summer just whipping by?
Yeah, it's pretty horrifying.
July 4th is next week.
I don't know how that could happen.
It doesn't make any sense.
Especially because it doesn't feel like summer officially started. Like no one made any big fanfare about it.
You know why?
It's just happening.
Because Brody closed the beaches.
We still have August.
One day, that's like 3 weeks. Remember that little line got yelled out?
I don't think that's funny.
Rob in Charleston. Rob.
Hey, buddies, how's it going?
Yeah.
Hey, I think that everybody's overlooking the fact that, the move by Walmart to stop selling the flags, it's just smart-ass marketing. They're just trying to sell to the people. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they don't care about anything. They care about profits. That's the job of a corporation. It's illegal for them to care about anything else. And they had a meeting, and they said, this flag thing has come up. And we've got 3 aisles of Confederate stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Get
Everybody's
rid of it.
There's a department full.
They were just like, Jesus. And people are like, well, we sell a lot of flags. And they're like, yeah, we also sell a lot of tires. And we sell caramel corn. And we sell fucking pancake mix. Get rid of the Confederate flags. I don't want anything to fuck with our bottom line. So that's what they do.
Yeah.
They just do it fast.
I think that most people probably understand taking it away from a government, any kind of institutionalized platform. I understand like why, for the same reason that we said, Germany is very sensitive about,
unbelievably sensitive.
Yeah, about Nazi paraphernalia or symbolism. And we've never had that. And I understand it. But I don't know why people are shocked that the corporations are just going to flow with what everyone is saying is upsetting. They're going to be like, yeah, totally. We've always felt that way, actually.
This is how sensitive Germany is to any Nazi stuff. Eric Bogosian got busted there once on stage for goose stepping. And I mean, like, the charge is he didn't bend his knees. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he was just fucking with them and just goose stepping around and shit. And they had him arrested.
Wow.
Because his fucking knees didn't bend.
Bend that knee, sir.
So they don't like any of that shit. They're like, and those guys show up with skinheads and they go to fucking soccer games and everybody gets weirded out by them because the suppression creates heat underneath of it, Let's go over here to Bill in Florida.
Yeah, Ron. Bill. Hey, I was watching the news, and one of the things they mentioned about the flag is when Nikki, the governor of South Carolina, gave her a little speech there. Standing right behind her was that Rance Priebus, the head of the RNC, and what was going on? See, South Carolina is the third state in the primary thing, and all the Republican candidates were getting asked questions about the flag, and I saw Huckabee sitting there going, blah-blah-blah, blah-blah, and they couldn't say anything yes or no because they're all red state. They're looking for the vote from these people that have the Confederate
Yeah, there's
flag.
no Republican candidates. Jeb Bush came up and he actually bragged and said, we got rid of the Confederate flag in Florida in 2001.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah. So that just goes to show you grew up, you were born under the Confederate flag.
Yes.
And raised down there under the Confederate flag. And I don't know, it didn't seem like it ever came up a lot.
It didn't come up a lot. And, it was people wore it on their clothes and had bumper stickers on their car. And I think that a lot of people felt that it had to do with the South. There was still this idea of like, oh boy, these guys. But I don't think it wasn't associated specifically with racism. Whether or not that's right, it's just the truth of the way it was treated down there. And it wasn't until I was in middle school where somebody had one of the high school kids had a Hummer and had a big Confederate flag that like flew on the back of Hummer. So a couple of the black students were like, hey dude, that's it's actually kind of shitty, you shouldn't do that. And then they went to the school about it, and there was a big debate about whether or not the school could say you can't show up to school with this giant flag on the back of your car. And ultimately it was decided that he could keep it, and that was the decision. And it was like, we're not going to make anyone else change anything that they want to do. So It just depends. It's like that also part of that had to do with the fact that was a private school. And so they could make decisions on something like that as opposed to a public school where maybe it would be easier to say, no, we're not going to have that anywhere on our campus because this is a state school. I don't know.
I always thought that the look of the rebel flag on the back of a truck symbolized I have nothing in my savings account. Everything that you see,
it's all laid out.
This is all my assets right here. You know what I mean? You wouldn't see, wealthy people doing it, but other people would be like happy to do it. Dave in Austin.
Hey guys, I would tell them Walmart really doesn't give a shit at all. They're just trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound with this thing. They still sell Che Guevara stuff. Che Guevara was a racist. He was a fascist. He was all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? And he's looked up towards this great revolutionary, but really...
It's only college kids that seem to have a Che thing. Yeah. And just like Sublime, once they're out of college, they act like they have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's really just for the shirt because it looks cool. I mean, that's really the silhouette of his head. That's why they're wearing it.
But you could, why not have a James Dean head then? You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
maybe
that's real.
Let's start selling them. Let's start pushing those things.
Lewis in Money Making Manhattan.
Hey, what's up, guys? I think they should ban all flags. I think they're all fucking stupid.
Well, let me tell you this. When I was in NASA and we were in space, you would look down and I didn't see any borders and I didn't see any flags. You saw one planet. A blue marble, I used to call it.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You do have the flag of planet Earth, if you remember.
The Earth flag that I'm not even too crazy about. I don't think it represents everybody. I'd rather use the gay rainbow flag to represent Earth. I was part of the NASA program. That's me right there, Chris. You saw a picture.
That's you?
I'm inside that helmet. Wait, that's not me. That's Brian Williams. He and I flew up together. He'll back me up. Give him a call. We both went up. Sheldon. Yeah.
I think this conversation is not very useful, frankly. 9 people
Most aren't. We lost you, dude. Call me back, Sheldon. I want to hear that. I hope you didn't think that I dropped out.
No, it's not.
I seriously want to hear about the useful conversation. I was Sheldon from San Francisco. If he pops up, back on there, put him up immediately. Riley in New Jersey.
Hey, I want to know why nobody's talking about the checkered flag, a horrible hatred symbol against millions of NASCAR losers.
That is true. Only one person in any race likes the checkered flag. Why not? You know, they love the NASCAR down south. Why not start to fly the checkered flag over the state capitals?
That's your new flag.
We won. Or the caution flag. I like that too.
I'll tell you right now, no one can take my Bennington flag.
They're the best.
Mm-hmm. That's why I ordered.
I was always upset that didn't become the national flag.
It's so great.
It's got the 76.
It's got the 76. It's got the weird frowny face on it.
Yeah, it's got the frown. It's like it's kind of like a fish is frowning at you. Then it has a 76 there.
Also, I believe I could be wrong, but are the stripes like it starts white first instead of red? I feel like it's a little inverted in that way.
I never noticed that. I see what you're saying.
Normally, doesn't it start red stripe on the top?
Chris is going to look that up right now.
Yeah, it starts right on top.
Good call by you. Mm-hmm. I never noticed. Noticed.
Really good about that.
When we had flag fucking quizzes in first and second grade, I probably would have got it then. Red. The stripes also represent the 13 original colonies.
Oh.
The red is for the blood of the lost soldiers.
You burn it or bury it.
And then you fold it in a nice little triangle.
Someone help me with that, though. It's very hard. All right, good. We got Sheldon back on. Sheldon.
Yeah, I was just going to say, why aren't we discussing the 9 people that got murdered? Why are we suddenly just discussing the flag as a nation?
So what would you like to talk about? What would be the place to start this thing?
Well, I think we need to start talking about racism itself and why it's endemic in the South. I know that a flag is representative of that, but so are a lot of things. I don't think this is going to solve anything. I'm particularly sensitive to this because I'm a psychology professor, and I want the nation to start talking about the fact that we've got a lot of racists in this country.
Well, you live in California. Would you say there's more or less racists in California than in South Carolina?
Well, in South Carolina, I haven't studied it, but I would have to say that on the surface, California looks a lot less racist. But, you know, everyone's a little racist deep down. We all have that xenophobia within us, fear of the foreign, fear of the unknown. So I don't think California is exactly non-racist.
I would say California has the kind of racism that exists now, where you look at the amount of Hispanic servants coming in to take care of the white people in the suburbs, whether they're busing in, whether they're traveling in. I think there's a lot more racism than has to do with calling people names. And I think that came up with Obama the other day, that he tried to say, and everyone got mad at him for using that horrible N-word, but he was trying to say, it isn't language that is our fucking problem. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's what is really shocking about when people worry about what it is that offends them, because for some reason, people tend to be more offended by words, and in this case, visuals, than actions. Like, the actions themselves are almost too much for them to deal with. So they're like, it's the word, it's the flag, it's it's the way that you're expressing yourself, as opposed to, I don't know, actual violent acts or, racism that is within an institution that is like vast and affects people, as opposed to one dude saying something.
Right.
Why
I don't have a problem with people seeing the flag for what it is and saying that it's a sign of a racist area, person, what have you. But we need to stop stopping right there. If we could get rid of all the Confederate flags tomorrow, it would solve nothing.
Well, and also, if people in California and the North did something besides point fingers at the South, which we've done for 150 years, and admit that there's racism in Philadelphia and Boston and Chicago. Let me ask you this. Would we, any of us, put up with the number of white people that are murdered in Chicago if they were white people instead of those black kids on the South Side? We'd fucking run the army in.
It'd be a freak out.
Right.
It would be
so
mayhem.
there's racism on a daily basis.
Right.
You're right.
And, it's easy to say, oh, look, the cops are racist. Oh, look, the South is racist. I see fucking racism in the North and the West as well, but they never cop to it. I think people are afraid to say, yeah, I got some racism in me. Yeah. I have, even if it's like, I just have fear. I have fear of a fucking black planet. I remember when that album came out, I'm like, that's the fucking truest shit I ever heard in my life. I couldn't believe, like, when Public Enemy and NWA came out, I'm like, I'm not included in this. Right. This is fucking strong, and I'm on the other side. Yeah, I think there's racism everywhere, and I think we don't talk about it. I think we point our fingers down south because it's a lot easier than doing fucking work.
Right. Because they're different. It's another form of like, oh, they handle it in a different way and they live in a different way than I do, so therefore what they're doing is the wrong way to approach it.
Look, let's face it, it's a southern accent, right?
Mm-hmm. Where I come from.
Yeah. The youngins call it country and the Yankees call it dumb. And it's true. White people in America look at Southern people and feel superior. They're like, look, those people, they're fucking white, but look at me. I'm not running around fucking in a big truck, yelling. Right. I feel superior. They're bad. I'm good. That's a large part of racism right there. I'm one of the good ones.
Right. And it's also talking about poverty is easier to make fun of, like, Southern white poverty than it is to make fun of black poverty.
Absolutely.
They're like, oh, that's an acceptable thing to say. It's funny where we draw the lines.
John, Sacramento.
Hey, how you doing? I was shifting through here. I've got a comment about all this racism thing, Confederate flag. I was a policeman in Oakland 25 years. My dad's black. My mom's white. I'm considered black. Let me tell you something. All this, white guilt and, white people are all bad. And you're 54 times more likely as a white person to be victimized by a black person than vice versa. So I kind of take offense to what you were talking about. You'd march the army into Chicago for white people and this, that, and the other. There are white people getting victimized every day, and I say that with a heavy heart, coming from what I'm categorized as a black person, but you guys don't know what you're talking about.
First of all, let me explain something to you, dude. Let me explain something to you, dude. If there's a fucking neighborhood and you're born into a circumstance where it doesn't look like there's any way for you to make your fucking area better and fucking move up and get out, that is racism. So suppression is the early racism. I'm not talking around like you driving around and fucking, seeing rowdy young black kids and saying, look how bad they are. I'm talking about the kind of racism that takes place every day by the fucking people in power. And you work for them and I work for them. And they're a different kind of white person, dude.
That's an excuse. You quite frankly, you don't know what you're talking about. And I guarantee you didn't grow up in one of those neighborhoods or see what I've seen over 25 years, both as a policeman and as a black person. I agree. There's some racism that goes on. Little subtleties. Let me give you one example. I've got a white friend. He went into a bathroom to use the bathroom. Guy goes, hey, no problem. I went in there about 5 minutes later. Guy goes, no public bathroom. Those are things that happen. Those are little subtleties that exist. that, shit happens.
It's like nothing compared to growing up poor, dude, and there being no way out. And yes, some people are going to be fucking angry from that because they're not educated enough to not feel part of it. In the same way, if you come up to a building and it's empty and you're a kid and you throw shit and break it because you have no fucking respect for it. We're raising people and have raised people who have no respect for the so-called American dream.
I guarantee you're an Obama fan, Art. I guarantee.
First of all, that's the fucking simplest. Hey, dude, let me fucking tell you, that is the simplest, easy way of fucking putting something to divide people. All right, that's the simplest, easy way. If I wanted to be fucking hard on you, I'd say, hey, that's cop thinking, isn't it? That's fucking black and white cop thinking, because it's the kind of thinking that you're doing, right? Where you're coming in with the fucking blame.
You don't have the facts, though, sir.
You have no fucking idea who I am. Because I didn't run around in a fucking cop car for 20 years doesn't fucking mean I haven't lived on this planet.
No, did you grow up in a ghetto?
You're literally the same kind of bullshit thinking is what fucking keeps us here. And I'm glad that you think that you're a good black guy because you got some white cop friends and you could use the word Obama as a fucking punchline. That's fucking great.
Well, you don't know what you're talking about because you're not getting the facts right. That's.
You sound like a fucking cop who just pulled somebody over, who acts like you're the only one who knows.
You sound like Harry Reid or some of these other morons.
Yes, go back to fucking politics. Go back to fucking politics. Every fucking chance you get. I'm talking about people.
But you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't grow up in that. I did.
What the fuck? How do you know where I'm from? Look up fucking Chester, Pennsylvania, motherfucker. Look it up before you act like you know who you just pulled over.
Because if you knew what you're talking about...
Shut the fuck up and know what you're talking about.
Yeah, good luck. And
you haven't pulled me over, asshole.
Like yourself. Have a good day.
Oh, yeah. Okay, can I have my license back, officer? This is why fucking people cannot fucking stand to put up and have an actual conversation. Why are you saying that the fucking people who get killed in South Chicago is all those people's fault? There's fucking criminals there. We send people over to fucking straighten out Baghdad. We won't send them into South Chicago. That's not fucking racism. What is it?
This is the exact type of thing when people want to wonder, how is it possible for racism to exist if there are black cops in any neighborhood? Because it's about institutionalized racism. It's totally fucking different.
And right away he has to think like the other cops. He fucking becomes one.
Right.
And I'm not saying all fucking cops are bad more than all people in black neighborhoods are bad. Even in the worst fucking crime black neighborhood, I guarantee you, 91% of the people are good, and that's the worst. Most of them, it's 99% of the people who just want to live a life. Every time you fucking turn around. Here's Tom in Oklahoma.
Hey, Ronnie B, how's it going?
Hey, man.
Hey, I'm from Chicago. I've talked to you before, but I'm from Chicago, and I'm a cop here in Oklahoma since I retired from the Army. And you're 100% right about it's not the neighborhoods themselves up there. It's not the 100% full of assholes. Because I used to have a newspaper route going through the south side of Chicago. 95% of them are the greatest people you ever known. It's just that we as a society are not helping out the people that need the help and, giving them the guidance and the schooling and the education they need to get out of that shithole.
Most of the people that live in poor neighborhoods are people just trying to get by like anybody else. Are there criminals there? Yeah, there are. Just like the same way we're talking about the cops. When a bad cop shows up in the news, it's because he's a bad cop. When you see that cop the other day going crazy, pulling his gun out on kids, right. The reason that makes the news is it's unusual. It's weird.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, here in Oklahoma, the racism down here, there is racism. It's not so much against blacks. It's more against Indian Americans and Mexican Americans. But the racism down here is nowhere near what I felt growing up in Chicago. And I lived in Chicago for 30 years of my, as I grew up until I moved down here, and it's a completely different world between the two states.
And what's the big difference, Tom?
Like I said, I'm a police chief down here in a small town, and it's just more friendly down here. It's people. It doesn't matter what color you are, even the ones that act racist when they're away from the other races. People still stop, say hi. People talk with each other, help each other with flat tires. We're up north. It's 3,000 cars will go by somebody with a flat tire without stopping to help them.
That's true. Well, because they're all worried that they've seen the news and some crazy person has set the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks, my man. Peace. James. James is locked up there. Here's Al in Sacramento.
Hey, Ronnie. Hey, Gail.
Yeah.
Listen, this window's closing quick, so I got an opportunity for you. I just ordered 10,000 yards of Confederate flag fabric from Finger Hut.
Yeah.
And I just need a partner. I can't come up with money right away, but I'm figuring we've got about a 2-week window. Now, on top of that, so I need a partner in this, buy all this fabric, make all these flags, make some clothes. On top of that, we got fireworks going on, and I just drove by a fireworks stand. It's called Rebel Fireworks, and there's a Rebel flag. The whole board, the whole store is a Rebel flag because it's called Rebel Fireworks. So the opportunities are here. I mean, the whole racist thing is going to be here when we die. But you know what? Let's make some money. So let me know if you're in. And also, I got one more thing. Really, what's important? The 442, the women are going to play tomorrow. I'm telling you, 442, we're going to get slaughtered tomorrow with the 442. Got to go with Manchester. We got to go with the 352. We got to show up that midfield.
Alan's thinking money all the time, man. He's a businessman. Alan, you're Rainmaker. From this point on, I'm just going to call you Rainmaker. AJ in Baltimore.
Hey, what's up, cousins?
Hey, man.
I just wanted to say, I'm a 26-year-old man, black male from Baltimore, and hearing that guy just go at you, it was just insane to me because, everything she was saying makes so much sense. And, being from Baltimore, I grew up in Baltimore City, and I went to the Baltimore City public schools. It's not set up for us to succeed here. And it's hard for someone to say that it's our fault because it's not. We were put in a situation where yes, some people can get out, but for the most part, the average child in those school systems is not learning because you have a couple disruptive kids, their parents, make it difficult, and it's just a system that's set up for us not to succeed. I'm doing well myself because I had parents that gave me the sight and gave me the vision to be successful, but a lot of kids here don't have that, and that's in other major cities also. So for him to make it seem like it's the individual's fault for, it's just hard.
Here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting form of racism that doesn't seem like racism. Every time a black kid is in trouble, we blame the parents and the family, and why didn't the parents and family get here? When this kid went in and shot the church, the judge said, and also remember, his family is victims as well. Be, nice to them. Yeah. No one has ever said that when a black kid gets in trouble. By the way, let's not blame the family. Because we honestly kind of think to ourselves, white people have good families and black people don't. You know what I mean? White people have better family values than black people. Oh, isn't that a shame?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just a standing thing that you don't even wrestle around in your own mind.
And that's not the thing that anyone will shed light on. No one will look at that and think about what that means, and they're more wrapped up in things that are easy for them to fit in a box,
right,
like it's a symbol.
We can't walk through their neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it.
And also to go off of what he was just saying, I think it's so interesting that Americans are willing to say the American dream is dead and it's not fair, and now we see it, and this is totally upsetting to us. But they're still going to hang on to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Right. That they'll still hang on to.
You can't fight the fact that the American dream has always been a white dream, right? So even at best, we're saying to black people and Hispanic people, you have a shot at that white dream that we created back in the late 40s and early 50s.
Hey, Ryan, one more thing.
Yeah.
Because I have a decent job, and I have to dress up for work, but I I don't make that much money, but the fact that I have to dress up, wear a tie to work, and I will literally go to different companies, and people will look at me as if like, oh, here's a black guy wearing a shirt and tie, and this is like kind of weird. Like,
isn't that great? Look at AJ.
He's doing it.
Yeah, like,
look at AJ.
It's so bizarre, and it's like Baltimore is it's a lot of black people, it's a lot of white people, but the fact that they see a younger black male trying not to run the streets and, be negative, it's like, oh, this is this bizarre thing. But it's a lot of people that are like me and like with heart, like they want to be good people, but when you're surrounded by just negativity all the time, it's kind of hard. And I wasn't. Like I said, I came up from decent parents, so I had two parents in the house, and I had the benefit for that. But I just think it's insane when these people. I'm so happy. I really want to call because I heard you get upset. I've never heard you yell like that before.
He was just driving me nuts. All right, thanks, AJ.
No problem.
Peace, buddy. Bernie in Boston.
Yeah, hi, Ronnie. I was in basic training in Fort Polk, Louisiana in 1972. They brought us in for race relation classes, and they brought up two subjects. They put a film up on a screen. They showed the Confederate flag, then they showed the Black Power fist, and they were saying, what kind of feelings does this bring out in people? And that was 1972. And, and the same discussion was going on then. Obviously, guys from the North and the blacks were, pretty much down on the flag.
You know what's really odd is that the military has been on the forefront of racist stuff since the beginning. You know what I mean? They've always been ahead of the private sector.
Yeah.
So with women, too, the military's always been that kind of, has a very kind of open
when you're not raping them.
Well, exactly. Exactly. But I just thought that back then it was a sensitive issue, and people, the class went well, and everybody seemed to kind of get it. But, now, on a state building, something like that, it shouldn't be. But as far as, like, if somebody wants to have a house, fine with them.
All right, thanks, man. Here's Larry in Missouri.
Yeah, man, Ron, I grew up in Missouri, in Georgia, moved to Missouri. I didn't get the Confederate flag till I moved here. And I saw people, they're flying it. They don't even know what the fuck it means. And so now I get it why people want it to come down, but it's a Southern thing where they don't see it that way. But I'm so tired of people hearing a Southern guy talk, and automatically you're talking about a stupid person. And we got a whole problem with poor people in the country. There's racism in black people, but I even hate to see it. I see white people, white trash, like, look at that white trash right there. It's just the same way.
Look, I remember when I was younger, calling somebody a redneck or white trash was an insult. Now it is embraced. And I remember that you would talk to people and they would always say, oh, my cousin, you got to meet my cousin. He's a real redneck. You would say it about others. You would never say, I'm a redneck.
Now it's pride.
Yeah. Now it's like this redneck pride. And it's strange. It's also a way of people acting like, no, there's no mobility in my life either. I'm poor white trash. That's what I am.
Yeah. Let me lay this on you.
Yeah.
It's not even the same word as the N-bomb, but the embracing of the Southern white culture and being a redneck. Look at country music, selling it to all these poor white trash people. They're selling it, oh, yeah, be a redneck, be white trash. Is that the same thing as the N-bomb?
No, but I think it's the same thing when people, go after Floyd Mayweather or hip-hop stars for not moving people along and kind of showing, look, here's stacks of cash, I'm wearing gold around my neck. I think that if you listen to a lot of those country songs, it basically like, we like to shop at Walmart with our gun. You know what I mean?
Like beer and God.
It ain't exactly outlaw stuff. You know what I mean?
No, not
it's
at all.
like get into line stuff. Be at the part of the system. You're in the lower part of the system.
Be happy in your trailer. They're doing it to everybody, and then they're dividing us on race. I grew up in the South. I grew up. And I've been in New York, and I've been around the place, and I know I've got no problem going down to the South and being in the quarters or wherever it is. I got no problem. When I was in New York, I didn't know my place, so I stayed the hell out of there, But I'm in the Midwest now. People hear me talk, they'll come up and tell me a racist joke, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
I give them this awful look, but, you know, they feel free because I talk with a drawl that he's a racist. Hey, listen to this racist joke I got.
Yeah, again, if we were to truly talk about racism, there is racism in the white community. You know what I mean? There's definite racism. If you grow up talking that way, people are saying to people, look, if you want to move up, you've got to get rid of that Southern drawl.
Yeah. And it's, what people fail to realize is how much of it has to do with class, no matter if you're talking about race or not.
Right.
So much of it is talking about poverty.
And that's why you get a lot of kids living out in the sticks now who are like, well, meth lab is the easy way, I guess. That's the way for us to make money. Selling oxys.
But what you were saying about country music, I don't think people look at them and demonize them for saying, hey, we're rednecks and this is our culture and this is, what we like, and the way they do with the black community. If they embrace being from a poor neighborhood and this is our culture, and then they're like, well, see, if you act like that, if you behave that way, I just feel like there's a...
I do. When I hear people listening to corporate country music,
right,
not the outlaw country, which I think right now for me is the number one music that Americans are making, but that corporate country music that's like, it's almost like if Jerry Bruckheimer were to write a fucking song.
That the Sugar Shakers.
They're literally about trucks, guns, beer, chicken, and God. It's like those are just the running things.
And at some point, like, we're the real Americans. We're the real, we're real Americans. Matt in Kansas.
Hey, I think the real problem is we're just flat not educating inner city kids, and the whole South is not given the opportunity to get good education. I moved to Oklahoma recently and scrambled all around to move there for a job. I couldn't find a decent school system to put my kid in, Southern Oklahoma.
But here's the deal, dude. It's got to be a much harder thing to do than we realize, because there's a lot of people dedicated to taking education into inner cities and taking education in the rural places. And I guess they have their successes, but it isn't a mind-blowing revolution that everybody turns around and say, hey, look, this is great.
I don't know. Is there even any state who's exactly proud of the way they've handled education in their poor communities? I don't think that there is.
It seems like they just always, when they need money, they take it from education.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to pull off. And again, this is why we end up, the way that we're not talking to each other like we're people. Like we tried to separate each other like they're people. Like the cop in Oakland, immediately when he brought up names of liberal, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're trying to act like there's a wall between us.
Right. And that it's just, there's only one of two ways to be.
Right. Yes, there's only two ways to be, and I just fucking pulled you over and I got you. No, dude, you don't. You're on the fucking phone. Fuck. Michael in Georgia.
Hey, guys, it's good to hear from you. I just want to give you you're so close to this issue and getting it. You're almost there.
We're almost there.
A little bit of a background. I'm born and raised in Georgia my whole life. I'm a very blessed human being. I'm a multi-millionaire. My wife works for inner city schools in Atlanta. Once I make my money, and I'm using that, I decided to give back and to donate my time, donate money, because we don't have any kids. My whole premise is communication until the white people, African-American people start communicating and put the bullshit off the table about race, this, that, the other, until we get on the same page. It's never going to change. And
So you're saying sit everybody down, right?
Just fucking do it. And let me real quick.
Yeah.
The American dream, the dream for American people, for being African American is there. Because let me tell you something. My mentor is African American. He took me from being poor. I grew up poor. I was from South Georgia. He took me under his wing at 22 years old and said, if you shut up and listen to me, at 45 years old, you'll never work again. And I did. And I'm done.
How'd you make your money?
Transportation. I started selling transportation trucking. I opened up my own brokerage. I got my I-9 and insurance. I broker loads all over the world. And now I'm doing international. That's what we just went into. I do it basically it's me, Mike, and a girl named Andrea. Mike and Andrea are both African American. We own our own company, and we can't do all of it. I mean, you're just sitting back making money, but I listened to them, and I took down my racist because I was racist. Growing up, they were the N-word. They were the enemy. It's because of them, the poverty. Look at them all on welfare. Look at them. They get all the freebies. Look at where your taxes are going. Until we take that bullshit off the table and communicate, this shit will never change. Because it's funny because they have white racism toward us. Like, did you know the African American people think that white people tell them what to do at work, and then we go into an office and just sit there and drink coffee and smoke cigarettes? That's perception of factory workers. That's what they think we do.
So you're saying, Michael, your idea is people just have to sit down, even if they say the worst possible things at the start. Keep talking till it's done.
Yeah, the NAACP keeps it going. The Southern Knights keep it going. I'm in Atlanta. There's two Atlantas. You have inner city Atlanta, which is the 285. We call that the Congo Ring. That's probably 90% of the African Americans live in that circle. Outside of Atlanta is the Southern Draw Belt. And there's literally a 5-mile divide. The ring is 52 miles, but 3 miles on one side and 3 miles on the other. It is. We're there, we call it they call it the Klan Belt. And and I'm very blessed as a human being that my parents raised me not to see that once we left South Georgia. And that's when I met Mike and them in my 20s. I'm like, shit, could you imagine what it'd be like if I didn't have a conversation with this guy? It was over a couple beers and a couple cigarettes. And he said, you know what? I need a white guy for outside of Atlanta, and you need an African American for inside Atlanta. And Andrea came in. She said, let's do this shit. It was 20 years ago, and I want for nothing.
Now, let me tell you something, and I'm not kidding with it. I agree with everything that Michael's saying, and I would like to see people like him on TV. The other day when I was doing that show with Pete and Opie, and they're bringing up Pierce Morgan and Don Lemon, I don't want to fucking hear from those guys again. I never want to hear from Reverend Al again. You fucking had your amount. I want to see people on TV I've never seen on TV before. I want to see people like Michael who could sit down and say, look, here's how it worked for me. And everything that he's saying about let this thing start ugly. It's not going to fucking end in a half hour, an hour. Maybe it won't end in 10 years. What else would you want to fucking work on other than people of your country getting together and ending violence? What would be a better thing to dedicate a TV station to? Now, why don't we have a TV station like that?
Won't get sales.
Because the only way we regulate success in this country is making money. If you're not making money, you're not doing a good job. That's it. So if we had a TV station that just benefited people because you were talking about these things and it didn't make as much money as Spike TV, everybody would act, well, it's not working. I'd say it would be working. We honestly need people like Michael on TV talking about this shit all the fucking time.
I like what he said. It's also not about denying difference. Like, if you're working together and you're working alongside and living alongside of people who are different than yourselves, you also don't have to deny what is different about you. It's not, that's not the problem, is pointing out our differences. It's not the issue.
Look, let me tell you something. Colin's new book is great for that. I saw Colin Quinn on Conan last night. And honestly, I think that Colin Quinn has kind of quietly become America's most important comic. And I'm not kidding about that. Because he keeps going after big themes. And if nothing else, it gets you thinking about big themes. But his book is a lot about the differences about New Yorkers and how great it is. Right. And he did this thing on Conan last night where he talked about Italian people, and I'd never thought about it before. He says they're never afraid, and of course this is done from a joking manner, of things that you're supposed to be afraid of, like, oh, there's going to be fights. Let's go get the bats. But if you go, look, here's some yogurt, they're backing up like, hey, what is that? What is that? And I'm telling you, the way he did it last night was the funniest shit. And then he talked about the way the people in Boston are different than the people in LA. And it's honestly, what do you want to do when you travel? You want differences. One of the reasons why you moved to New York was to meet people from other places. The fact that, you can bump into Russians and French people here that are, been in this country for a couple of years and learn things from them.
Right.
Italian Americans and Chinese people. It's always interesting.
And using humor to make those connections and to laugh about the differences, I think is probably more powerful than anything. Like, as far as regular people, not professional comedians that I've ever seen who are the best at it, is the gay community. The gay community, for whatever reason, tease each other, use all the words about no matter what race you are, whatever.
Right.
And they are also, I think, the best at interracial dating and the best at, like, their groups of friends are always really diverse. And I think it's like they have one common thing that they're like, okay, we're on the outside of society, so we have that, but we're totally different in a lot of other ways. And they constantly use humor.
Mm-hmm. Ball busting.
Yeah, they tease each other, and no word is off the table for whatever strange reason within groups of my gay friends.
That's why Fez couldn't fit in. That would drive Fez crazy. He never could be around that.
Well, most of the gay friends I have are crazy fucking ball busters. Like, that is because I think that's a survival tactic.
Yeah, but because you're witty when you have to.
When you have to defend yourself
your whole life.
Yes, exactly.
I'll tell you something else that's happened in this country, and I'm just going to bring it out with white moms. I don't remember white moms being so interested in whether their kids are going to practice or not. Like, at what fucking point do the kid has to excel at music and he has to excel at sports? White moms have turned into Korean moms somehow without us even knowing it. But I can't remember any mom in my neighborhood who cared whether we went to Little League practice or not. They're suddenly caring about every sport that their kid is doing.
Right.
Like, just calm the fuck down.
What was that change, do you think? Because I didn't feel that when I was young.
I didn't even have that much interest in you kids. I mean, I knew that you were around. I saw you, talking to your mom and shit. So I knew that you were, I knew you belonged there. But no.
But I don't remember even other parents being the way that I notice it is.
No, but
with parents
try to talk to your answer. Like, we're thinking about sending him on a travel club. He's doing so good with this. Why? Now he's taking. Their summer is scheduled from fucking morning to night.
Too many activities.
It's the opposite of summer.
It's the opposite of summer. It's the opposite of being a kid.
Most summers were pretty boring in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, you were
shit
like
to do.
Yeah.
I know, that's one thing that none of my friends remember, that most of the time that we all bitch, they only remember, like, the exciting stuff. But I remember us just sitting around going like this, fucking hate this neighborhood, I'm going to leave here, there's never anything to do, it's hot. None of us own a pool. I didn't know we didn't know one fucking guy on the other side of the fucking neighborhood with a pool. And that kid would vacation all the time. I'm like, I'm fucking going to this pool tonight.
Fancy.
Yeah, over this fence, we did a lot of nighttime swimming. But I don't know why they want to just lock the fuck up like that,
And the parents are with the kids for these activities, right? So it's not like the parents are getting free time from it.
Yeah, it seems like parents are very involved. And I don't know if that also has to do with social media, too. Like, it seems like they also know a lot about their social lives.
No, they're worried that their kids are going to be a failure.
Yeah.
First of all, being a kid has nothing to do with success or failure. You're just a kid. And really, the only reason for childhood is to prepare you for adulthood. That's it. How about this? You just have something good to look back on. You know what I mean? If nothing else, well, I'm working a shitty job. But I remember in the summer, me and my friends used to go to this fucking pond and swim in it naked. How about that?
Does anyone look at their, adulthood is preparing them for being a senior citizen?
They do. They're like, save every dime you have. Save every dime you have. You'll never have enough money.
Well, yeah, maybe with money, but do you think that people treat experiences that way? Like, do you think that people worry about experiencing things as an adult?
No, because all elderly people are dull. But who would, if you were to meet an older person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather meet somebody who had a good job and worked 50 years in the insurance thing, or meet some old dude that you found out used to fucking sell mescaline at Grateful Dead concerts?
That's
you know what I
the
mean?
guy.
Like, that's the weird thing is like, a lot of times you think you had to achieve it, but now you're like, you talk to someone and they're like, well, you know, I knew Ken Kesey. You're like, what? Really? Let me buy you a fucking beer, sir. Tell me about your experiences with Ken Kesey. You know what I mean? You just had to be around it to become interesting as an older person. You know? That's it. If you said, well, I was a driver, I used to drive Tom Wolfe around. You're like, what? That's fucking way more interesting than the president of a bank. You were the driver of the man who wrote the right stuff. Let's sit down. I want to take you out to dinner. That's the weird thing. You just have to get out and live a little bit for life to work. It isn't about what you've put up. No one has ever fucking, and their last words were, how much do I have in the bank? And it was good. No.
All worth it.
No. I remember the thing when Kinnison died. Everybody, the biggest fucking laugh came from that he owed the government $1.5 million. And everybody was fucking saying that is so great.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It was just like, we're going through his, looked like he tipped really big. He lived large. Tell me again how many assets I have. What do you plan on saying for your last words? I already got mine down.
Okay, what is it?
Mine is it's your fault.
To me?
Yeah.
What?
You really should have looked out a little bit.
I feel like I was there for you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy talk.
I'm here now.
We should break. We haven't broken yet today.
Stanley, I know what your last words are going to be.
What's that?
I'm only 31.
No.
I don't have much time.
Why do you want to break all the time? So you can talk about Tito's again?
There'll be some Tito's.
All
Tito's
right.
talk in this break, yeah.
Hang on for this. Chris is going to tell you all about Tito's and their simple label and their excellent. It's a modest label and it's a simple bottle.
Yeah.
And it's
95, 19 credit cards.
Isn't it gluten free or something?
Yeah.
Too?
100% totally gluten free.
100% corn.
See, the thing about Tito Beverage is he was left this company from his grandfather. And he was just a rich kid, and his grandfather just said, here, take over the company.
Not at all. No.
And if you want, just stay in the pool all day, and the company is already running pretty well.
Nope. He put his life savings into it. And he acquired the first legal permit to distill in Texas. And he racked up 19 credit cards to build those copper pot stills and condensers.
See, I really wish I had a story like that. This is the kind of story you want about your life, like Tito Beverage's story, where you made something out of nothing. You made something out of nothing. Let me tell you something. We were talking about, the people in this country getting together, learning stuff. I would rather see Tito Beveridge on TV talking about his life and his experiences. I think would be more helpful than watching CNN, Fox News, MSNBC all week long. If you got an hour with Tito to say, here's what I went up against, and here's what I did. And, I talked to him one time before. I'm like, yeah, but it's so tough to get, he goes, I never paid attention to any of the rules. Whatever the rules were, I followed them and beat them at. You know what I mean? Just what are the rules to the game? What do you have to pay in taxes? What do you have to do to get a permit? He would read all the stuff and then win on that level. That's what people forget because a lot of the rest of us sit around making up of where these obstacles came from all the time.
And Tito still makes his vodka by hand on the same land where he started it in Austin, Texas.
He said it still. You know why? Because that's in his heart. That's his love. This is what he has given.
Tito's handmade vodka is distilled 6 times from 100% corn and is naturally gluten-free. Visit us at titosvodka.com for recipes, songs, and more. 40% alcohol by volume, handcrafted to be savored responsibly.
Chuck Palahniuk there. We kind of fucked up the beginning, but the funniest part of all was the beginning of me because he goes, I'm Chuck Palahniuk, the author of Fight Club and really not much else. I think it's because it's all people talk to him about all these years. He's written some great books.
Hey, he's got Choke, too.
But I like the other one about the death cult.
Invisible Monsters?
No. It's
Survivor. That's right. Yeah, Survivor.
Survivor, yeah.
I got off on the Invisible Monsters. That was like that was not for me.
Do you like Diary?
I like Diary.
Lullaby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lullaby's my favorite, actually.
Really?
I really
It's not
like
too
that one.
sad for me.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Chuck. Now, I want you guys to see something up on the. And by the way, that's up on the iBang. But the Canadian law enforcement, I guess, the Royal Mounted Police, are looking for the Moose Rider. This video is fucking crazy. I didn't even think the guy could pull it off, but he's. It's not linked properly on the site?
Yeah, it's not linked properly. But the link is there, it's just you can't click on it.
All right, so you got to check this out. These dudes are out on a boat. Just play it a little bit. So they're chasing a moose that's like swimming and wading through this beautiful lake.
Wow.
I think in British Columbia. Now, all I've ever heard about people that told me if you see a moose, like, be fucking scared. It's like seeing a bear. Like, a lot of people think a moose will be nice, but it isn't.
They kill a lot of people.
And they're massive.
Yeah, they're massive. So, he's right. Turn up the volume on this one. So, they're trying to get closer and closer to the moose in this lake, and the dude is up on the front of the boat trying to jump on its back. What? He almost falls there, and he just jumped on the moose's back. Look, he's riding a moose in the water.
Oh my God!
That guy's the best.
Now, you say he's the best. And his friends obviously agree. They're never going to stop talking about the time we were out on the lake and he jumped on the moose's back. But the animal rights people and the government are furious.
Right, because they chased it down, and obviously the moose was
He put it
running
in
from
fear. Right,
Right.
he put it in fear. But the balls to jump on a moose's back, and he doesn't look like a stud athlete. He just looks like party dude.
He's got a beer gut.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a white back, his ass is hanging out.
He throws his arm in the air. He couldn't be more proud of himself.
You'll be talking about that forever. You know, at the 50th high school reunion, moose riding comes up.
So, you know, because of the iPhone, that is something that would live in legend with your friends. You would say, no, you don't understand. Like, he really did that. And everyone would be like,
well, that's
no.
how the old one would be. Like, before we'd be like, you're bullshitting. But now you can say, look, it's on fucking YouTube. 1 million people have seen this in 3 days.
Check my shit out, dude.
I mean, I hate to say this is the Davy Mack thing to do, but you know what I mean? If we were out on a boat, he would be the one who would jump on the moose's back. Like, I would much rather have my buddy jump on his back than me be the guy who became the legend.
Yeah, no way.
It kind of makes you an asshole either way.
Yeah, you'd much rather be saying, yeah, he's fucking crazy. I didn't do it, but it was amazing.
It's much better to have a crazy buddy than it is to be the crazy buddy. I mean, this looks like a man who will never take a wife. If I'm going to be totally honest.
It's going to be hard for him to settle down.
Yeah, and he's not going to really ever commit to a career. There'll be a couple, you know, that, he's got a detail business. They're telling you that he's doing good with his detail business, but no one really believes it because they'll go by there and he's never there and shit, you know?
Oh, this guy's amazing.
It also could not be more stunning where they are. Like,
yes, Canada is just absolutely beautiful from fucking pillar to post. I mean, you drive across Canada with your jaw drop.
Look at the color of the water.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
We would go up to lakes in Canada because my dad was a fisherman and he drug us along on his vacations. And we would be, pretty far away from civilization and just surrounded by beauty. Now, when I'm saying far away from civilization, I don't mean like in a fucking movie. I don't mean like Kerouac going out being a fire fucking watcher or anything. But I'm talking about like you had to go a long way if you wanted to go get a soda or something.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You were taking a long drive, to get into town. And, but anywhere I've ever been in Canada, I just find it to be stunning. Just stunning. The cities are beautiful, but then the country itself. And I do have the belief that they are the next superpower.
I mean, they've been waiting,
They've been waiting patiently.
They've been eating a lot of shit from people, too.
Who?
Ew.
I think people just, they bitch about for being nice and just being the nice neighbor up north.
Yeah, but that's the kind of ball busting you
Yeah,
can
like
take,
that's a good joke,
Right.
Yeah.
That's like hearing like, oh, you get along with your wife. You're like, oh, stop busting my balls. But you're like, hey, this isn't bad. You know what I mean? I'll take this.
I have a nice reputation, actually.
Yeah, I'll take this fucking fucking shit any day. So I know that you were, Chris, before the show. Now, people think that Stanley's stuff, meltdowns, only happen on the air.
Yes.
But his phone was blowing up, and you were having a Rumpelstiltskin fit over it.
It sounded like a fucking, like a goddamn slot machine. It was going off. No, why? Because of the group text, which is the modern scourge of anyone who owns a cell phone. Because the group text is the most obnoxious, rude, and stupid thing you could possibly do. This is what happens. You end up on a group text. Someone sends one text message out to like 6 people or whatever it is. Then every one of those 6 people feel the need to comment on whatever that original text was.
I will always comment.
I wake up, or if I'm away from my phone, I'll have like 40 to 50 text messages, and I'm thinking, what the fuck happened? It's not an exaggeration. I start freaking out like, oh my God. Then I go to it. Oh, it's a group text and people are just busting balls and talking shit. And I'm on it and I don't care about what the goddamn group text is.
Let me ask you this, because I've never tried it before.
Yeah.
Can you block someone from texting you?
I don't know.
I'll block any group texter.
I'm going to have to agree with Stanley on this one. It is the worst thing that could happen to a human being is to put on a group.
Cancers exist.
Worse is to be put on a group text that you don't want to be on. This happened to me last night, and I don't want to name names, but certain relatives put me on a group text.
The 3 sisters.
The 3 sisters put me on a group text.
Your mom and her sisters, they all lose IQ points as they get together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they literally become children.
Yes, like when they form like the Megazord or whatever. It's
I didn't know that term. Megazord?
So what's a Megazord?
Isn't the Megazord what happens to the Power Rangers when they all come into one?
I don't know. We'll have to look that up. Wait, Joey Jojo, you know the answer?
Yeah, it's from Power Rangers.
So
Megazord.
Megazord is a real thing?
It is a real thing.
It's when all the Power Rangers become one giant robot, which is what happens with my mom and her sisters.
The most powerful robot to defeat evil, yeah.
When they become the Megazord, it's a problem. And I was in the middle of cooking dinner. I come back, I check my phone, and there were 40 text messages back and forth between the sisters, and at least 50% of these texts were ha 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 ha. Then a response, then 2 more ha 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 ha's from each sister. So I've got to scroll through the amount of ha ha's. Was ridiculous.
Anything worse laughing? I mean, was
I didn't even crack a smile.
I mean, how funny?
I didn't even crack a smile.
A text isn't a funny thing. I'll never go, ha, I got a funny text.
Listen, sometimes there's a funny text, and sometimes they deserve ha-ha. These did not deserve any ha-has at all.
Yeah, this morning I just texted the group that I was on, please take me off this.
You said that?
Yes.
All right, who was on your group text? Because Gail gave up hers.
3 of my buddies, and what it was about was, do you want to watch the NBA draft tomorrow? Which was the gist of it. And I got to go through 30 fucking text messages hearing this thing go off. Yeah, what's there to talk about? Yes or no? I want to see the goddamn draft.
Now, here's the deal, and I'm glad that you brought up. And this, I'm going to say this, Gail, and I never give you any compliments.
Okay.
But I admire you from not having your phone in the kitchen. As you know, I am a Blue Apron elite chef.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to cook by myself. I cook with your mother.
Yes.
I say to her, I had to say one day, if the phone isn't out of the kitchen, I shan't cook again. I had to make a statement. because she treats every text like the fucking fire whistle went off. Like it has to be answered immediately. And then I'll hear this. Why we're food prepping. Yeah, I'm just cooking right now. No, got a blue. And I go like this. Look, I'm telling you right now. If the phone is in the kitchen, I won't be here. Choose now. Because, my dinner, my Blue Apron dinners, that's my time.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
To be an artist with food.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear dings and somebody's, some doula has a question. I don't know what that means.
Sure. And also, during prep time, there's a certain zen situation you can get yourself in when you're chopping onions and garlic and stuff.
Yes, that's when I'm at my best,
yeah.
right? And I'm like this. This is going to be great once it hits the pan. I'm moving ahead of my own expectations. And then if I hear, did you hear what Sweetie said today at school? No, I'm never going to hear that. This is kitchen time.
I agree with you. I'm on your side with this.
He loves me now because he was at the Lisa Lampanelli talk. So he gives me a wave every time I come by.
Oh, nice.
And he actually said to me, I cannot believe you did that without notes. And I'm like, I don't hear that from Chris. I don't hear from Joey Jojo.
You did.
I don't hear from Gail.
What? You did hear that from me.
Yeah. And then Dan's like, I want to go backstage with you because I want to see if I can open for her. Every little thing I'm trying to use to advance myself. So you guys, now, do you get work group text?
No, I don't get work group text. I've always preferred.
You were at work and your group text was blowing up.
Yes, I know. But it's from people not who don't know when I work with people I know.
I have one that happens very often.
It's obnoxious.
It's actually worse than the ones that we are describing. Is I will get something like, "Hey guys, spinning DJ time at this bar tonight. 50 friends, 48 of which I don't know." And then all of a sudden you start getting ping, ping, ping. Yeah. And it's just like, "Oh, sorry, can't make it. Hey, I'm there. What's the address again?" Like, what? No, I don't even know any of these people.
Yeah, you won't see, there won't be names, just numbers.
To me, getting a
just
text,
numbers, and it's just like, cool. All right, we'll let you know.
I'm going to say this. A text on my phone from someone I didn't know is the same as if someone showed up in my bedroom in the middle of the night.
It feels like
I don't see any difference.
It feels like it.
I will fucking take a gun and just start shooting into the phone.
And I don't know, I don't know why people don't understand the etiquette. You don't respond to that. Respond to your friend individually after that. First of all, I blame the initial person to send out the group text. They're to blame, clearly.
Because, but here's the thing. That's a business text, even if it's from your friend. That's like your friend saying, I'm selling, Vena or whatever these fucking stupid products are that don't work. Whatever that happens to be, you can't just try to monetize your friends. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing. How do I turn these friends into something that they're not?
It's not right.
That's why I'll say this to people like, hey, you really need to do, because everyone says I don't do anything with my social media. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I can't be reached at night.
Yeah,
Isn't that great?
I want people to speak to me.
And they're going, oh, this is your listeners. They're able to comment. I go, yeah, they can comment during the show. I would love to comment with them. And then the show's over. I mean, I don't know why that has become an insane fucking thing.
Also,
that shows end.
I think that if they want to continue on to discuss the show, they should be allowed to do so in private with their own private thoughts about it.
Right.
You shouldn't be involved in it.
Right. So group texting and monetizing your friends is where we are in 2015. And let me say, I think that we stumbled on something way worse than Confederate flag, way worse than racism, because it's back to technology fucking starting problems that didn't used to exist.
This is not a problem.
Technology was always supposed to solve problems that existed, not invent new problems.
I'm gonna start using technology against them, fight fire with fire, and I'm gonna start sending nudie pics on the group text.
Just send out a cock pic.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, look at the size of this dick. It's thick,
Get
right?
it off this group text
You
now.
like that, right?
Holy shit, is this real? Look at the size of the balls alone.
Please stop commenting.
That's so funny. That's so goddamn funny. That's a great idea. Just keep the group text going when other people don't want it. 3:00. Anyone else can't sleep? There's a Marx Brothers movie on. And let's face it, Harpo was the whole group. If another fucking human being ever says to me they don't get Chico, I'm like, yes, I understand. We've been saying that since fucking 1927. No one got Chico. You know how come? He had his two brothers were the funniest human beings alive in two different directions.
Right.
So just being kind of funny means you suck if your last name is Marks. Is the Hut around today? Because she is just a constant monetizer to the internet. She will not stop.
I'll group text her.
Put me on that, please.
Who started? I'm going to ask you this though. Who started the group text?
I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it was my mother.
Yes, you know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because she thinks that what did you call the robot thing?
Megazord
is the way that she would like to live her life, right? Like, oh, aren't we all so funny together? First of all, it's the only place that she can get major laughs. Because those other two are just like,
right.
This annoys me to get together with women. And then they'll just go like this. Something like, oh, yeah? Well, you dated Tom Wilson. And then everybody laughs for 40 minutes. They're just rolling and laughing. And I have to go like this. I'm in the humor business, and that is not a joke. It's simply a reference, and there's no reason for you to laugh over that.
They also find the funniest things, the pain of others. That's when they all get laughing the best.
One of the children fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. Then that's funny. Like, damn it, I didn't see this before. I got a group text that says, you guys couldn't be more spot on.
Who said that?
This better not continue. This is from Joey Jojo.
Good one, Joey.
Oh, what you guys said they didn't have any work group text, so I just wanted to incorporate that.
Joe, any reason why I wasn't on group text? I mean, I feel like I'm out here.
I didn't want to interrupt your flow.
Why don't you just admit that you don't have my number?
Yeah, I don't have your number.
That you still have to go to Chris.
I go through Chris.
You and Dan and Anthony still have to go through Chris to reach me. And by the way, just so you know this, I never hear any of your thoughts and ideas. If someone says to me, how are the guys doing? I go, they have no thoughts and ideas. And I know that there's a blockage. And Chris, I appreciate it.
Jennifer Hutt is no longer in the building.
Good. Good. Which sister was getting the most laughs?
I think Mom was maybe getting the most laughs.
That's why she wants to start a group text.
Yeah, she often gets the most laughs.
Yeah, it's her only place that, you know what I mean? Like, she works at it.
Right.
Just like when some people work really hard at their Twitter. I know, I probably should do something when there's something. This is a woman I used to know years ago. And she just really works hard at her Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
She's never, I think she used to be an actress or a singer. But now it seems to me that she's just dedicated to write one-liners for Twitter.
Right, just jokes.
And the only reason why I found this out is somebody sent me a joke once, and I read it as off by them. And then she wrote to me later, hey, did somebody steal one of my jokes and send them to you? I heard about it. So some fucking guy stole one of her gags,
right?
Tweeted it to us. I read it off. We all have a good laugh. And then she's like, what the fuck? Right? So I followed her Twitter for a little while, and it's like there's probably 8 to 10 strong one-liners a day written.
Right.
Now, she's not really like a public figure, and I think she's got like 5,000, followers, and she's been doing this pretty constant for years. It's like, and she's friends with gag writers now. Like, gag writers are like, oh, this is good stuff, I'll follow you.
Now,
like guys who write for TV shows.
Now, can she make some money off of this? Or is she just focused on the Twitter?
I haven't asked.
Yeah, I mean, why not write for something?
Maybe that's
what she's trying to parlay it into.
Yeah.
Or already has.
Like the shit
maybe you should get your mom into that now that you got that idea.
Yeah, sure. Now, shit my dad says that got, it was a show, right?
Yeah, it was a book. A book and a show, yeah.
All right. Wiki just said, great show today, and I'm really sorry. Tell Chris I am sorry about the group text.
Goddamn group texts.
He also says he doesn't get Chico. And then he also says he doesn't have your cell, Gail.
Oh, I can.
Or else you'd be getting those inappropriate penis pictures.
Oh, no.
You would have to...
Just a barrage of them.
Hello, HR.
Yeah, I can't find her name on there because I don't think I ever wrote Like, when her number came, and she had my number, but I didn't have hers. And I never fix it like that. I just
never
leave it as a
just
number. But she put me together with a famous person one night.
Nice.
She was like, hey, do you mind if I give this famous person wants to talk to you? Mind if I give him your number? I'm like, what? How would you know him?
And did he call you?
Yeah.
We want to write it down and tell me who it was?
Yeah. He actually called me with a birthday wish.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They just happened to be talking about me.
Oh, wow.
Can I take a look?
Nope.
Oh,
you know why?
Why?
Because you can't be trusted.
I could be trusted.
I'm
not
afraid
group
you're
texting
going
things
to
out.
blurt it out.
No.
Go by who did the best in your group text. Because I feel like if I was on a group text, I would do very well. Because remember when we had that fantasy football league?
Yeah.
The only thing I liked was us
on the board,
having the board and ball busting through that. And I would tell people if they didn't ball bust on the board, you're not going to be in this league much longer. You will lose your team for that. Like Earl never did any of the ball busting. So
Right.
anytime I'd call him up, I go, look, I'm having a problem with you. We're not just picking teams.
Yeah.
We're,
Yeah,
having
we
a
gotta,
social
like-
fun thing.
You got to make it fun.
Would you play fantasy football this year? Or you would hate the idea?
I would love to do it. I've never.
It would drive you nuts.
Okay.
And it would definitely drive your man nuts because he's going to probably help you. And it would,
Right.
his concerns would run through. I mean, he's got enough problems being an Eagles fan.
Right.
Joe, do you want to play?
I would love to play, yes.
I'm sure Dan would because that could lead to more gigs somehow. I could put a famous comedian in it.
It's football circuit.
Let me know if you guys need anybody to go up and do 15 minutes at the banquet. What about you, Chris?
You know I love some action. You know that.
What weird person could we bring in? I know we had Blowhard in before. I'm thinking this, though. When we stop playing, my Sundays got more enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, you're not watching all right, when fantasy's in effect and you're watching Red Zone, it's terrible. I'm screaming. I'm depressed. And then at the end of the day, it's just a bad mood. I just lose my shit. But, I can't resist action.
Does the league have like a fun name and everyone picks fun names for their teams?
There's
and
fun
stuff?
names for every team.
Yeah, I like that.
There's fun names. A lot better than regular fantasy football team names, which is usually just some shitty reference to a football player.
It's going to be good. I'm excited.
I'm already out.
What?
You guys can do it, though.
No.
I just got to thinking about how nice my Sundays are without
It really
playing.
fucks you up, dude. I
mean, you're just looking at a computer all Sunday instead of enjoying your day off. And you're just like, I fucking need one goddamn touchdown catch from my wide receiver.
But
or
are
if there's
you-
a fumble or something, or if there's point
terrible.
corrections, and I've had multiple meltdowns on the air because of over fucking fantasy.
I quit when I had an undefeated number one team. I gave it to Chris. The reason why I quit is Fez was supposed to make a trade with me, and then he didn't make the trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I busted balls about it on the air, and then he pulled his team so that I would win on Sunday. And everybody else in the league was like, he's just fucking helping you win.
Wait.
And I honestly had a great team.
Yeah.
So I'm like, now I shan't play another game.
Shan't do a lot of things.
I know. I shan't ever. It's like, why I won't let your mom when there's Blue Apron prep
I know.
time. The phone is out of the kitchen.
It needs to go out of the kitchen.
Or I am. I'm not saying I'm laying down rules. I'm just saying what's going to happen with me. I'm in here or that goddamn phone. It's up to you.
You have to choose.
Do you ever get texts from the little kids in the family?
Once in a while, yeah. I will get texts.
I find that too weird.
Yeah.
I find that way too weird.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, the little ones are usually, it's just kind of, usually just like, hey.
What are you doing?
Like-
And you're like, well, look, I'm doing adult stuff I can't explain to you right now.
Living life.
You
What's
don't
up
even
with you, dude?
understand money. You don't even understand money. So I can't tell you what I'm going through. I'm trying to go out and get money and bring it back home.
Right.
Is that a terrible thing?
you get
Because if
that?
it is, then I'm the worst person ever.
Hey, what's up?
What are you doing? God, your niece talks like an old lady to me. She's like this. Hi, what are you doing? And I'm like, you're 10. How could you be locked into that?
Yeah, kids pick up on usually the language of the adults around them, and it's always
God,
really
did
funny.
you see the video that they sent around of the little kids dancing?
Oh my God, that was so funny.
And yet that boy, I'm not going to say his name, I mean, I think that he would have a lawsuit if he wanted to say, I want this stopped. Because it's not, when you're a little kid, you dance like no one's looking, right?
Yeah.
You don't want that tape to stay around forever.
Yeah. Now it's on the internet. It's out.
Like, I don't know if there could be a term short, husky Tommy Tune.
Oh, no.
But that's what it looked like. It looked like a young kid who's about to hit a growth pattern, far overthought how good of a dancer he was.
Yeah, especially even when you become older, I think when you see old pictures or videos of you that are embarrassing, like it's still embarrassing.
It still hurts.
You're like, hey, that's me, kind of. Like you're laughing at me right now.
All right, I remember this one time going back to Canada. So we're going up to go fishing, right? And my mom, no, I'm like 11 or something, like 10 or 11. And my mom went and bought me like little boat shoes, like sneakers, right?
Yeah.
That she said these get destroyed. You know, you always destroy your sneakers when you go up there because you're walking through mud and you're going to get them wet. She goes, you'll have these. They're cheap. You wear them and then you throw them away before you come home. I'm like, I'm not wearing these little fucking boat shoes. I could get the shit beat out of me for this. And she's like, no one's going to see you. There's not going to see you. And I go, just let me have my fucking sneakers. I want my Converse. She's like, no, I don't want you to have it. There's pictures that I've directed to this day, decades and decades later. I look at those fucking sissy boat shoes. And I'm just so and I'm sitting there and I'm holding walleye. You know what I mean? Like I've caught these big fish that I should be proud. And all I see is these little fucking boat shoes that I wore, like someone's grandma would have. I'm going to destroy those pictures, or at least go by and just cut the bottom of them out. And I just say like this: there was a time. There was no life below the knees. But a mother doesn't understand that.
No, they don't.
Now, I could say, what you would like to say is, I was so immature when I was younger. I got mad over boat shoes when I should have enjoyed life. Instead, those little fucking boat shoes still fucking piss me off.
Still infuriating.
I gotta send out a group text. I don't want those boat shoes. But anyway, I think that's how that kid's gonna feel about that dancing thing.
Well, there's a whole...
Well, they put on like YouTube or World Star, and they pass it around.
Dancing along with some. First of all, if those kids learned about World Star, I'd have to shut it down. There's like some video game that you dance along with, right? That you're supposed to dance like the guy, but I didn't see like a pad on the floor.
No, I was confused. It seemed the same premise as the old Dance Dance Revolution.
Right.
DDR.
Yeah.
And it didn't look even better.
No, it looked the same.
Yeah.
But they weren't dancing on like
Maybe
a
it was one of
pattern.
those like Xbox Connect things where it just tracks the motion.
Oh, that must be what it is.
All right, Joey Jojo just gave a thumbs up to that.
I was just confirming to Chris that that's correct.
Thanks, Joey Jojo.
And it is Xbox Connect. Just Dance.
Just Dance.
That's the name of the game.
Just dance.
It's a boy song.
Put on your boat shoes and dance.
I won't.
I always, if I see something like that, I just save it in case the kid ever tries to be mean to me later in life. And I'll go, is that right? Remember when you dance like this?
Check it out, dude.
Chris, did I leave some earbuds in here yesterday?
I did not see any.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's fucking slang for I pocketed it.
I don't pocket anything.
Unbelievable.
Really?
You stole his buds?
Yeah, he's fucking selling buds out on fucking 6th Avenue. Anybody want some bud? Anybody want some bud? No, not weed. Bud!
So your ears are budless.
I'll just fucking say, what's up, bud, every time I see you. I had to turn the air condition back on. Gail tries to fucking turn this thing into a sweat camp.
I know, but it's normally so cold. I just wanted just
cold.
5 minutes of peace.
Cold is another word for normal.
Cold is good.
Men don't like to be in a fucking hothouse. I had friends that worked for the company Steakum, and they had to be in the freezer. This whole fucking warehouse was just one giant freezer with steak in it.
That sounds great.
Even in the summer, they would be all fucking wearing big clothes and going in there. And
it sounds like hell to me.
Hell or heaven?
Hell. Sorry, I must have not pronounced it correctly.
Oh, thinking about the young days. That's on the Magic Mike soundtrack. They're running on the trailer.
Oh, no.
We were young and wild and free. I had a raspy voice like everyone else in the 80s.
Can't wait for this Magic Mike 2. Gotta catch up
it's
on
gonna be
1.
So fucking good.
Gotta catch up on 1 first.
Yeah.
The only way Magic Mike 2 could be better is if Bracco was in it.
If who?
Bracco, you remember.
Oh, yeah.
The most attractive man on the
On
internet.
Instagram.
On Instagram.
I guess the internet too, right?
It's all internet.
The most attractive man on an app, Bracco.
Well,
I've been sending Chris Bracco pics.
Off-putting.
Put him on a group text.
Yep. Sounds good.
It gives him something to jack to.
No.
He loves them.
Bracco. I like his words. I like his captions.
Like, what words you like that he says?
Is that what you like?
No, it's not.
While he's on his knees, just taking it full fucking force in his face.
Big load.
I'm thinking about the Bracco days. We had Brian Adams in, and right before we went there, he said to me and Chris, "What are you guys doing? Having a laugh?"
Having a laugh?
Yeah, having a laugh. And I go like, what else is there, Brian?
Why are you so interested, Brian Adams?
He had a book of photography. It's always the smartest move if you're a rock star, a movie star, is to have a camera with you, right? And it went on, like they hire him, like to fly to Milan to shoot models and shit now.
Really?
He just does that when he's not. Wait, you're saying what? Like you weren't here, saw the giant book that we had him sign?
I'm the one who wasn't here.
What? Yes. Having a laugh. Are we having a laugh? Bro,
Was it the Milan part of that surprised you?
You're Canadian, not fucking British, Brian Adams. There was like, in the 80s, you had John Waite with his raspy voice, Brian Adams with his raspy voice, Rod Stewart still had hits with the raspy voice, but the biggest hit of all, Kim Carnes, Betty Davis eyes.
Oh, yeah. Full rasp.
Help! Help!
Get this man some air.
It's a woman.
Oh.
It's Kim Carnes. Boy, this is one wacky fucking video, too. She was out of her mind during this shit.
I miss music videos.
If I was the president during the 80s, and that was Ronald Reagan, I would have forced Kim Carnes to have a baby with Rod Stewart just to see what would happen. You see the baby crying like this. Coming right out of the mother.
The death rattle?
And I would be there going like this as the president. I knew it! I knew I could make the raspiest baby in history.
You have that power.
No one believed me when I'd say I would bring the raspiest baby in the world back to you, America. You know what I like? That there's a half white, half black cop in Oakland right now, still pissed off. He's going like this. That's the fucking stupidest joke I ever heard. Try doing a joke like that on the streets, my friend. There's a thin blue line that protects us all from the darkies. Gotcha. I wonder why this was the number one hit of that year. It's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe.
Yeah.
Enough people would unite on this song.
I do this a lot. Like, I'll just go like, Billboard #1 songs, 1994. And I'll go like this. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I just look at it and can't believe. And then I'll go, Billboard charts, 1968. And I'll just go like this. You're gonna be fucking kidding me. How did these songs get to be #1? And then I remember, little girls.
Little ladies.
Little girls have the shittiest taste in music, and they love the shit out of it, too. Put that in my group chat.
Hey, take me off that. I'm at work.
Nobody's group chat, man. Oh. I'll try to get You know what? I'll get Gurian and Lisa Lampanelli on my group chat.
That's a pretty cool group chat.
I understand you guys are doing something on AOL Thursday at 1. Hope it does well. Okay, I did get a group chat from your aunt.
Mm-hmm.
She was listening. And she just says this, tell Gail to shut her fucking mouth.
Whoa.
Yeah. She got carried away, didn't she?
Jesus.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were beefing.
Well, that's it. We got a break again, Big Chris, or you want to read me something?
Yeah, we got a break again.
What? What are you just giving me?
We have a guest coming in studio after we come back from break. Comedy producer and talent booker Marianne Ways. She also produces Night Train at Wyatt Cenac, a stand-up showcase which you can see live every Monday at 8 p.m. at Littlefield in Brooklyn. And she's also an agent for the Gersh Agency.
We'll be right back. This is Bennington.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beverage had the idea of building his own micro distillery, incorporating the boutique winery concept into the spirits industry. He acquired the first legal permit to distill in Texas.
Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about Tito.
You're talking about Tito Beverage right now?
Yeah.
One time I saw Tito Beverage rip through a truck tire with his bare hands. Bare hands! Not one, not two, 3 truck tires.
Oh, God.
And he went through them like they were tissue paper. And that's what I said to him. Seem to have a strong grip there, my friend. What do you sell for a living? Guess what he said to me?
What's that?
Tito's Vodka.
And Tito's Vodka has been awarded a 95 rating by Wine Enthusiast.
Vodka, is that what we're talking about now?
Yeah, vodka.
Let me tell you something that I remember back in the time I call PT. Pre-Tito's. You wanted vodka, you had to drink Kami vodka. Behind the Iron Curtain. Russians. That's all changed. On a day that Tito said to me, how would you like your vodka? Red, white, and blue.
Tito's Vodka has a modest paper label on a simple bottle.
You know why?
Why is that?
It's a modest and simple man. He doesn't tell the story of Tito Beverage. That's why I'm here. To tell the story of a man among men. A man who took on the hammer and sickle and whipped its ass for the United States of America. Best state? Texas. Best city in Texas? Austin. Best person in Austin? Tito Beverage. Enough said.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is distilled 6 times from 100% corn and is naturally gluten-free. Visit us at titosvodka.com for recipes, songs, and more. 40% alcohol by volume, handcrafted to be savored responsibly. This is Bennington, and Marianne Ways is in studio. Marianne is the producer and talent booker of Night Train with Wyatt Cenac, a stand-up showcase which you can see live every Monday at 8 p.m. at Littlefield in Brooklyn. Her Twitter is @mways, and this is the Innovators of Entertainment. It's brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka, distilled 6 times from 100% corn and naturally gluten-free. Come visit us at titosvodka.com.
You know, I like to, at least once a week, talking about stand-up comedy and the people behind it, because obviously it takes a scene to get anybody going and anybody happening. But it seems like a lot of people are doing that now without owning comedy clubs.
That's true. Yeah. I got into this back in 2003 in New York and didn't set foot in a legitimate comedy club until I think 2005, and then didn't work in a comedy club until 2007.
So a lot of the comedy taking place outside, but then once it gets popular, you're able to move it into the comedy clubs?
It just depends. I mean, comedy clubs are still a great place for comedians to get seen. You know, most of them have kind of built-in audiences that are just game for comedy and going to see any comedian that the booker brings in and thinks is going to do well.
Right.
But some comedians, they don't actually strive to be in comedy clubs. So, the time that I started working in stand-up, it was, the burgeoning alternative scene, as we were calling it then, which I think, doesn't really exist so much anymore. There are still comedians who kind of are pushing the boundaries and doing sort of out of the box thinking, but I feel like those worlds have sort of merged. So it's, it actually, for some of those comedians when I was starting, going into a comedy club was never thought of. That was never a goal of theirs. It was just, kind of doing these underground alternative shows in back rooms of bars, and then, trying to get on TV, doing writing gigs, and kind of going from these small shows into theaters, or, a lot of these comedians now are touring into rock venues. It's been really,
well, give the people at home some of the names of people who didn't come up traditionally.
Sure. The ones that were just starting, not just starting, but just kind of starting to break when I was first got into it were like Eugene Merman, Aziz Ansari, Nick Kroll, John Mulaney, Reggie Watts. So all extremely funny people. And I think they just kind of took a little different path to get there.
Yeah.
And, Caroline's in the city was always supportive of a lot of these guys. And at the same time in 2005 or 6, Comics Comedy Club opened up
I remember
in Manhattan.
That place. Yeah.
And they had a fantastic buyer named Rocky Dubin who really had an eye for this kind of underground talent. And so she was the first one bringing in like Kristen Schaal and Kurt Brownohler to headline, or John Mulaney, John Oliver had their first headlining gigs there. And it was kind of, for me at least, it became a bridge of these alternative worlds and these club worlds, and opened my eyes because I had no idea the club world existed. And all of a sudden, she was inviting people from, this bar Rafifi or from Mo Pitkin's, these venues that no longer exist in Manhattan. And she was also inviting people who were doing Broadway Comedy Club and Dangerfields. And it was this
Comics, by the way, that location's no one else has ever been in there. And that neighborhood has just exploded since then.
I haven't been back. The meatpacking district.
Yeah, they just opened up the museum there, right? So you got the museum, and then everybody's crazy about the High Line, and it all ends right where Comics.
Boy, wouldn't that have been great?
Yeah. And it's really weird, too, because there's for some reason, it's that's where people like French people and Italian people will come to the city and stay in those hotels. I never know why, but it's the most international part.
Huh. I'm going to say Chelsea Market.
Yeah.
Really
Chelsea Market is a good call. But there's actually, when you're down there at night, you're it's a little too attractive now. There's too many attractive people
that
here.
used to be the meat packing district. It was just meat and fish and then late at night, a lot of just filthy clubs, not comedy clubs, just dance clubs. And
But it was the one place in town that you could find transvestites.
Right.
I don't even know where Jimmy drives for it now. I don't know how far he has to go, because that whole thing used to be be careful. Be careful. And now, I remember the first time people told me about the High Line, right? We were at some dive place about 2:00 in the morning, and then we're out smoking, and they said, up here, they said they're going to turn this into a park. And I go, what? Rape park? You know what I mean? Who would walk up there? I wouldn't go up there right now. And it is, it's gigantic, the amount of people who go there. But that's the weird thing, that people don't realize that sometimes clubs and bars change neighborhoods, and one or two performers or bookers change the scene for comedy.
Definitely.
Know?
Absolutely. I think so. Rocky was really instrumental doing that. And, I thankfully was around just a really good group of comedians and, at a very interesting time. And I wouldn't say that I changed anything about, the comedy scene in the early 2000s, but everyone sort of had a role. And, these alternative comedians used to be really centralized into 2 different venues in the Lower East Side, the East Village. And after those closed down, they kind of just spread out, dissipated. Right. And then that's when I think, a handful of us, I know you talked to Rebecca Trent before, and, there was Caroline Craighead and Jeremy Levenbach and these people who we all just kind of started in comedy and were like, oh, we would like to keep helping and kind of keep the scene alive. And so, went to Williamsburg, it went to Park Slope, it, hardly stayed in Manhattan. But it became it was, all these comedians sticking to what they knew best, which was these alternative rooms. And so we all just went in search of the perfect venues, and we found rock clubs that were open to putting chairs on the floor and, charging $5 at the door. And
some nights just tubing, right? Some nights it's not working at all. No one, is showing, and then
absolutely
you just slug it out and you build and you build.
That's it.
Why do you think, and maybe it's even sexist for me to say it, but it seems like women are always behind these type of things?
I don't know. I mean, women are just great people.
I think it has something to do with nurturing, though.
You think?
I think there's something to be said about women tend to be team players.
Right.
And they tend to want to, when they see a talent in someone, they have a desire, I think, maybe to nurture it.
That is kind of true. Like, men will kind of do this. And again, you're always stupid when you just say men and women. But a man will be like this. You're not ready. Come back in a year. You know, men will like, women will say, you're not ready. Here's where I'm going to put you on this to work to get to the bigger room, right? They don't give up on people who are not there yet.
And, you know, I think there's also just a differentiation between the alternative scene and the club scene.
Right.
And, you know, I say there are, you know, men in New York and in LA who are, you know, sort of that mothering and supportive. And I'm not saying that, you know, I've met a lot of club bookers who are great, but I know that the few people you're talking about,
right,
where, you know, when I first started working at a club, I had comedians, you know, right back to me. I'd be like, hey, you know, they're like, hey, can I get a spot? I'm like, hey, we don't have anything, but, you know, check back, send me a clip. And they'd be like, why are you so nice? It seems like you like comedy. And so I haven't had to deal with these clubs, but I've heard that there are clubs across the country that it's just like, you know, it's, hey, you're not, you know, I can't bring you in. So.
You know, Mitzi was really responsible in LA for generations of nurturing comedians. You used to put them up in houses to live in. Dice told me that he lived in that house for 4 years and never paid rent once. That's crazy. I mean, this is a house above the Comedy Store, you know, in the hills. Lord knows what she could have rented that place out for. But she had this belief in these guys. And a lot of people would, you know, not everybody's going to say great things about anybody, you know, because she had her people that she cared about. And then Silver Friedman used to run the New York club for many, many years. Iron Fist back in the 80s. A lot of people were afraid of her. These would be like really street women at that time. You know what I mean? Like really able to handle whatever was going on.
Right. And tough, but still have the sense to say, like, this is part of curating this scene, is to care for them and to make sure that they stick around.
You could give Mitzi Shore, seriously, draw back as much as you could doing to anybody else, even if they're running Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? If you look, the two people that Mitzi brought in ended up running the late night TV. You know, Jay and Dave were her guys. Richard Pryor was her guy. Gary Shandling was her guy. And then that went on like that for years and years and years.
Yeah. I mean, I got into this because I like helping. And that's exactly like what you're saying. People used to call me like a tour mom, or, you know, it's just, I would see people trying to get stage time, or, you know, just wanting to kind of make this art their life. And I was like, oh, well, I'm really good at being organized. I really love stand up, which I didn't know much about before I came to New York. And it's like, I think I can help. And that's all it was. And
Where'd you come in from?
Western Pennsylvania.
I see. You just said a good thing too, because people don't realize that young kids, we never tell them, go to a place that nothing is happening at yet, right? We're always trying to tell people, write a good resume, send it into a corporation, but to find out the need before the people know that there's a need. Because who thought at the time, oh, there should be a different form of comedy that's being done all these years? Forgetting the fact that when Bud Friedman started this, that it was pretty radical at the time. It was never a set thing. I mean, really, he was closer to cabaret. You know, there would be singers at those original shows, breaking up the comics.
So much of that has to just do with showing up and being around, like being a part of the
That's exactly
scene.
what it was. Yeah. You know, through a series of fortunate events, I met David Wayne when I moved here, and through him met Eugene Merman, and Eugene was running a show in the East Village, and it was similar to what you're saying. It wasn't quite just a stand-up show. You know, people were trying new things. He had musical guests, and I came from a music background.
Right.
And so for me, that was very exciting. And it was like, oh, these are like the rock stars of the comedy world, and they're doing something special. And I had no intention of working in comedy or, you know, trying to make money off of these people. It was just one of these things where I was like, oh, I like this. I want to this is something special here. These people are really talented, and they were, you know, so welcoming and friendly. And we would all just be at the same bar every night of the week, just hanging out, talking, and nobody's trying, you know, there were times when, comedians were standing in the corner just making each other laugh and trying to one up each other. But it was never, nobody was excluding anyone. And it was special. I mean, I feel very lucky that I came in when I did.
Well, Eugene to me is like the do-it-yourself guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? To just name a festival after yourself that doesn't really exist. But he's also the guy who's like, hey, why is everyone picking on the intern? Like he has this weird thing, like there's something going wrong somewhere. It always makes me laugh so hard. Also, I'll laugh real hard when he's on a talk show or something, because it looks like he doesn't understand if he's not running it. He doesn't act the way that you're supposed to act on TV, and it always makes me laugh. Brilliant people have come out of this scene that maybe, like we said, maybe wouldn't have ever made it.
Yeah.
Going through the traditional way. All right, what are you doing now? What's the next step in all this?
Yes, I'm really lucky that, you know, Wyatt Cenac and I have been running a weekly show in Brooklyn for,
That's great.
you know, almost 3 years now, every Monday night. And it's a great way, you know, so the way that translates into my past is, you know, I'm booking these comedians who are now stopping in from LA, and, you know, Aziz Ansari is going to drop in because we've known each other for 12 years and it's a fun show, or Sarah Silverman, and, or it's a great way that I still keep in touch and stay on top of who's in New York, because there's always a new group of people.
Right.
It's still exciting and I'm seeing it. And then also, so I always have 2 or 3 jobs. I can never just limit myself. And so now I'm actually, an agent now. So doing booking tours for comedians, and it's great.
And again, another thing of these guys need that, because rarely are you good at both. You know, I mean, rarely can a comic have the time that it takes to do that and have the good smarts to book himself into the right rooms. I mean, a lot of guys get stuck for years where they're like, I thought I did this to be funny, and I'm on the phone constantly and I'm trying to put together this stuff. It's a very difficult thing to pull off. But again, you don't have to go to agent school for that.
No.
Like an organized person who knows how to interact with people and will learn from, you know, each day okay, how does this make this easy, can make a career out of this.
And you're also going to have such an edge if you care about comedy and you care about the comics that you work for.
Absolutely.
Like, I think
I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't care about the comedy and the comedians. And, you know, that's why I got into it. So I'm just trying, I feel like I spent 12 years helping them get to the next level, whatever that was. And now it's time to help them get even further. And it's, you know, it's fun. It's great. And so I've been doing it for, you know, 12 years on the other side.
Right.
Now I'm on this side and it's great. I mean,
but it's one thing when you watch Aziz go from doing open mics to play in Madison Square Garden. But now you're meeting another young kid, and you know it's going to take him years, no matter how hard he works. It's going to take years to get him to the place where he's going, okay, this is good. I like where I am right now. That's a tough thing to pull.
So tough. I don't know why people still get into stand up. I'm glad they do.
Yeah.
But I've had people ask me, you know, friends in the Midwest, and they're like, I want to do stand up. I'm like, oh, okay. Have you thought about this? I mean, you're not planning to live off of this for the for the first few years of ever.
Would you
It's hard.
Would you
It's just
recommend
hard.
that they did it in the Midwest before they went to LA or New York? Or
Absolutely. I mean, you know, your life is there. Your everything, your support system is there. And if there isn't a community, start one. You know, there are some great stand-up communities everywhere across the country. And, you know, I knew that was true, but I'm learning even more so now that I'm helping people tour the country, because one of my focuses is alternative venues. And that's like the rock clubs of the world. And I'm meeting so many, you know, comedians who've been doing it for 2 to 10 years, and they have no desire to leave Asheville or Nashville or, you know, wherever. They have their scene, and they'd rather just bring in some national acts, do an opening set, you know, get on the road if they can. Some of them are hosting radio shows. Like I love Bill Squire out in Ohio. Great guy, super funny. And he's doing wonderfully, and he's kind of owning that scene right now. And, you know, people, and that's the thing is, you know, there are great execs at Comedy Central, at IFC they're paying attention. And
are they paying attention?
They are. I think they are. You know, and also there are people that are booking these kind of alternative comedy festivals. And like one of my favorites is Bridgetown Festival out in Portland, Oregon. I was just there and I saw people I'd never seen before from Chicago, from, Cleveland and all over the place. And among, there were executives there from.
And that's like 2 years old or something, right? Is it really young?
Actually, I think it's like 5 years.
Oh,
now.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah. So it is, new in the grand scheme of things, but there are festivals like that all over the country where the comedians, sometimes comedians are starting these festivals and they're like, oh, well, I have a friend that I met when I was in Arkansas and he was a great comedian and maybe we'll bring him in, or people are submitting tapes and I think they really try to, get as many people represented there as they can. So
I think that's the next thing of knowing that you don't have to, because of YouTube, because of being able to podcast and stuff, to think that you could, it's almost like in a theater. Like if I went to a theater in New England, I don't want to see some 50-year-old play that was written in New York. I'd rather see the local people performing a play about that town, right? And I really do think that should be the future of all kind of entertainment, that you should represent the place that you're at.
It'd be great. I mean, of course, there is only so far you can go with that. Usually it is still limiting. I mean, the jobs are in New York and LA.
Right.
And I wish that weren't the case where if you got to a certain point, I wish you didn't have to move to New York or LA. From what I'm gathering, it still seems like the trend, and
it's still
not impossible. Again,
right.
Like you have the Grawlix guys out in Denver.
That's become enormous.
Yeah, and they built that scene. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't just them, but they had a huge part in it, and they've been going for over a decade.
So you're not just saying their success is coming from Herb, because it seems like
That's all it is. Everyone just plants some seeds, and
it just seems like if you could have your audience smoke a joint and while they're sitting there, it'd be much better than alcohol. But yeah, they're blowing up, and everybody loves to play there.
Really hard.
Yeah.
They got their names out there and they made connections, and they're just funny. They're funny guys, and they never really left Denver, and now they've got a show coming.
Well, I guess it's not that unusual. Who's the guy who did radio, and he was on NPR, and he did it out of like Minnesota or someplace, and he made up the Lake Wobegon thing?
Garrison Keillor.
Oh.
Yeah. He did that like years ago, and people would go to him, and it was really
Still doing it.
It's an alternative
Garrison
show. Yeah. It's Garrison Keillor, and it was like Lake Wobegon or something.
Yeah.
And then, people would travel to do that, and it's a really weird, bizarre show that literally middle America
I grew up listening. We used to rent those tapes from the library.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was a thing, but I remember listening to that.
So that's really what we need now, is like
more Garrison Keillors of the world.
but guys that are a little more edgy for this thing. I think it's fascinating. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think it's so like that there's got to, I'm talking to people about it, but it seems like there's got to be a book in it somewhere of these people, not just women, but from what I can see, mostly women that have really built something from nothing. Literally, they didn't own the building. They didn't own the acts. They're just saying, let us come in on a Monday night and we'll, make some money for you folks. And then I'll be able to get these performers. And the fact that these guys have now gone on and they're doing movies, they're doing TV shows, and they're playing these big tours, it's kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I actually, now that you're mentioning it, the person who booked Eugene Merman's show, Holly Schlesinger, she's the one who encouraged me to get involved. And she was booking that show for years. And now, I'm probably saying this wrong, but I think she's like a showrunner for Bob's Burgers.
Right.
Or she's one of like the co-creators. She works with Lauren Bouchard a lot. Like she's one of those people that.
And talk about a bizarre, hilarious show. And I'm not even a cartoon person.
Yeah.
I watched that and laughed my ass off.
Yeah.
I can't, I think that the most fascinating thing about this is that you find out who shapes, the shaping that is going on. And the fact that it's happening, in New York at the same time that it started happening in LA. And really at the time, people not even aware of each other, I'm just saying, let's take it outside of this. It was weird how many times that stand-up got done just in front of a brick wall for like 40 straight years. And a lot of clubs, they didn't even have a brick wall. They would just build a 6 foot, or some people would put up a plastic fake brick wall, and you're like, why are you doing that? Like, for the comedy, right? For the comedy. Has to be done up there. Well, thank you so much for coming by and talking to us. It's fascinating, really.
Thanks for having me.
And I wish you all the luck with it.
Thank you.
Night Train with Wyatt Cenac is a stand-up showcase. You can see it every Monday night at 8 p.m. at Littlefield in Brooklyn, and Marion's Twitter is @MWays. And this has been the Innovators of Entertainment segment, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka, distilled 6 times from 100% corn and naturally gluten-free. Come visit us at titosvodka.com.
So here's the thing, too. Don't go to New York or L.A. Just build it in your town. You call us. We'll help promote you. And I really do. I want to hear about the Omaha scene. I want to hear about the Birmingham, Alabama scene.
Be a little Garrison Keillor.
Yeah, I want you to be the Garrison Keillor of 2015 in Lubbock, Texas.
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, these are the places I'm looking for. All right, that's it for us. We'll see you guys back in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!